welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the WardiTV Monday number 18, your weekly dose of open StarCraft. Here we go. I'm of course Side VIP with me and joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to the initial rounds. Welcome to the round of 32, exclamation mark B in the chat. If you guys know how to look at the bracket yourselves, the bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, the bracket has just begun, and we are jumping into our first series here, into our first PvP. Our first of many. We'll see. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the German Protoss player, the green Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jimmy. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Filipino Protoss player, the red Protoss. It is Dash. Un momento. I'll get on the player names. Un momento. Bam. Beautiful. And spawning. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat as you have a minute or so to place your bets while you can. Again, it's been quite some time since we have featured Dash. It's been far too long. Dash, of course, is an up-and-coming player in the Southeast Asian region. Has been improving a lot, especially over the past couple of years. And, of course, did reach GM, did reach the upper echelons of the ladder. But we haven't seen him in quite some time. It's been a couple of months since the last time we casted Dash, so I'm here for him. I'm ready for him. We'll see how he compares to Jumi. Jumi's going to be coming in as the heavy favorite, but we'll see how Dash does respond. We'll see how he does open up. For now, two gate opener out of Dash. Jimmy going for the gate, Cybercore into expansion with the low ground setup. Here we go. So we have our low ground setup here from Jimmy, going for more economic opener. And Dash will have the option to go for an all-in. We'll have the option here. As, we might have just seen a cancel there. So a little bit of misplaced Nexus. That is going to be gate expansion before the Cyber. Jimmy, calm down. Very greedy build here by Jimmy. We do see Dash going with a gas steal, being as annoying as possible, but alas, he did not deny the expansion, and with that, the Nexus will complete. And it's gonna be on Dash to try to punish this greed and potentially set up for a proxy. Alas, he's being chased down. He's being chased down here by Jimmy, and as a result, he won't be able to quite get a pylon. Not yet, not with this probe. No, with this worker. Likewise, Jimmy across the map, making sure that there is an expansion, that there is going to be a setup. Here we go. Share my. Hope you've all been enjoying yourselves. Again, a bit of a later start here to the event. Just waiting for the players to get ready, waiting for the bracket to go live as well. But we're here. We're back. As the gas will eventually be brought down. The second gas here being taken on the low ground. Backup gateways on the way, and Jimmy does expand. Jimmy does take the natural. Okay. So he is going for that natural setup. So far, everything's looking relatively normal, relatively standard. Here we go. As he's walling up. Likewise, Dash is being active on the map, but again, there is no proxy setup, so we're just going to be settling in and getting to our tech of choice. We'll see if we go for a Twilight Council, a Robo, or Stargate. We have the answer. Twilight Council opener here out of Dash, likewise out of Jimmy as well, getting into Blink, getting into our two base setups. Oh, Jimmy does throw down a third gateway. Interesting. So he's going to have extra warp-ins available here, and our eyes are going to be on whether or not he sets up a fourth gateway or even a proxy fourth gateway as well. As Jimmy's setting up for a potentially more aggressive follow-up here in the mid-game. Potentially. Dash still being active. Oh, is going to be deflected. At least the hallucination goes down. Again, where do we go from here? Does either player expand? Does either player throw down extra gateways? Hallucination does confirm the third gate. Dash is at least aware of that. And does he take an expansion? Depths moving out here to harass into the natural. And there's the third gateway for Dash as well. He's keeping up production-wise. Is keeping up. And Fs have arrived. They delay the expansion. Jimmy is attempting a third base. So this also kind of confirms here that Jumi is just going to be macroing, getting his third up and running, and settling it. Likewise, Dash threatening a shade once again. Pulls away. And Dash, he will commit into the mineral line. And he can one-shot probes. He can, but ooh, doesn't quite pull it off. Both of them's going to be going down. Nice defense here from Jumi. At the same time, though, Dash collapses on the third base, and he does force a cancel. Does force a cancel, kills the pylon. Nicely done. Pulls away, faster third base. Dash in a pretty good position. Not bad. But can he survive the counterattack? Bearing in mind that Jumi has had an extra gateway for longer, so Jumi, he's up in Stalkers, is pushing in. Nice force fields. Up. Catches one Stalker, not quite the other. Not a bad catch, but that was a lot of force fields for one Stalker. As Dash needs more reinforcements, does warp in. Needs a little bit more time. Likewise, Jumi going to be threatening a shade towards the natural at the same time. Pulling him apart. Forges are on the way. Jumi expanding back at home. Getting his own third base. Is rotating once again. This should just be a distraction. Pulling Dash out of position. Going for the Nexus. And Epsay shade in. And Dash, he does notice. Does react. Probes are going to be going down. Likewise, Jumi pushing in. Should not get the expansion. Oh, he goes for the dive. Dives in the army. He gets one. He gets three Stalkers. Three Stalkers going down. Adept stay finally cleaned up. And Jumi, he does take the better fight. Does pull Dash apart. Takes out almost every single Stalker. The sentries as well. Jumi is running out of steam here. So from here, he most likely has to back off. There is no shield battery on the high ground. Well, he has to blink away. But reinforcements have arrived. And with the reinforcements, Jumi, it looks like he has enough. He takes down the mineral line, takes down the Stalkers. And Jumi has a broken Dash in one fell swoop, just pulling him apart and taking advantage of the Stalkers. In a mirror matchup, one bad fight, that could be it. That could be game. One bad fight is sometimes all it takes. As from here, the Stalkers, they do trade with the Zealots. Zealots, they tank some shots. Reinforcements once again, they have arrived, warping in 3 Stalkers at a time. And there's no saving the expansion. There's no saving this third base. Not anymore. As Jumi brings it down. He has the high ground as well. Takes down the Stalkers. And it's just an uphill battle here for Dash. Just down perpetually here in the army supply. He just cannot keep up. Not with the same amount of gateways. Not with the same amount of warp-ins. As Jumi just rallying in at this point. He can just aim. He could just send it. Could just force the issue. For now, he does back off. We have a massive gateway explosion on the way. 6 gates in production. 4th gateway as well. Sorry, 4th Nexus as well. Jesus. Getting a 4th expansion. And Jumi from here, he can just skyrocket ahead. Again, Dash was keeping up until he was pulled apart. To that one moment where the Epsay dragged away some of the supply. And Jumi overwhelmed. And there it is. GG gets called. Jumi, he will take game number 1. GG. Jumi will take a lead in the series. And Dash will take a loss here in game 1. We'll see if he can bounce back in game number 2. Again, when it comes to the openers, everything was looking quite solid for Dash. If you recall, he was denying the expansion. He was getting a couple of probes. He was getting some pylons. Like, there was some good value early on. Just unfortunate that he wasn't able to keep up with the movement of Jumi with the army, and with that, did get pulled apart. But now we're getting ready here for game number 2. Let's go. Loading into that second game. It's going to be on ley lines. Here we go. And we'll see if Dash can force the ace smash or if Jumi advances on from here. When it comes to our... no. When it comes to our... I almost got locked in, Pat. I almost got locked in. But when it comes to our bracket here, we'll be going over the matches after this series. There's a lot to get into. There's a lot to go over. The bracket is massive, of course. Again, round of 32, as I did mention. So there's a lot of matches and a lot of players that are getting involved. There's a lot to get into. We'll get there. We'll get there. For now, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the German Protoss player leading the series 1-0. It is Jumi. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Filipino Brodos, the red Brodos. It is Dash. Here we go. We have our PvP. Now, last game, Jumi did open up with the low ground expansion with the gateway into Nexus, but the reason for that is because there was a ramp coming into the natural. That is not the case here. That is not the case here on Leyline, so it is unsafe. It is considered greedy and risky to open up on the low ground or open up with a faster Nexus, so we have the high ground setup here from Jumi. Likewise, same can be said for Dash as well. So this time we have mirrored builds. If you recall, we did have some slight deviations in Game 1. As Dash is coming in with the Probe Scouts, we'll get eyes on the 2-gate opener of Jumi. Get eyes on the opener. It's just 2-gate versus 2-gate. There is no second worker out on the map. There's no proxy pylon. There's no fake proxy pylon. No proxies whatsoever. So far, everything looking as it should. You can see Jumi does hide his third pylon here on the right-hand side. Sorry, hide his second pylon on the right-hand side. And Dash does not see it, does not spot it. So based on Dash's vision here, it looks like there is a pylon missing, and he might be lured into believing that there is a pylon out on the map, just because he has yet to really confirm the corner of the base. But there it is. He does check, he does confirm, he gets eyes on the pylon. So thankfully, Dash, he does double check, he is aware, and he is now safe and sound, or at least he feels safe and sound. From this, Dash is going to be opening up Double Stalker. A much more assertive opener here out of Dash. With Double Stalker, he can move out across the map. He can try to threaten the army, gain map control, follow this up with a 3rd and 4th Stalker as well to maintain map presence, or he could follow this up with sentries for a bit of a safer response instead. Speaking of, yep, there it is. 3rd and 4th Stalker on the way for Dash. He is going to be moving out, and that is a probe moving out alongside this. This looks like a proxy. This looks like potentially the beginning of a 1-base all-in. Instead of expanding, oh no! Oh, as the Adepts, they do find the they find the probe. They do come across it. Jumi did notice. You can see the movement with the Adepts. He is aware. He's aware the probe is out on the map. Adepts, they are going to be intercepted. And with the probe being scattered, does he commit? Do we commit here? He does. He does commit here into a proxy. Now, I appreciate that this probe does actually rotate from the left all the way to the right. You can see here that Jumi, he's looking for the probe. The probe was headed in this direction, which is why Dash doubled back. He doubled back instead, rotating over towards the opposite side for that proxy. So really smart maneuvering here from Dash, considering he's going all in. Behind this, Blink is on the way. 2-gate setup here. 3rd gateway in the main base, and I believe a 4th gateway across the map. But Jumi, he is on the hunt. Again, he knows he saw that probe. He knows it's somewhere, and he found it. He finds it regardless here. Does not get away. And with that, this proxy is going to be shut down. We have backup pylons here from Dash. He knows he cannot transition out of this. Not anymore. The expansion is just far too late. Jumi, his own is almost done. Pylon goes down. There's 2 more pylons. Do these pylons even finish? I mean, Dash is on the way to protect, to keep this going. Alas, Jumi does have extra sentries. He does have the defense advantage. He's up in army supply. Dash looking for another way in. Probe goes down. The proxy is protected. And behind this, it is a Robo opener here from Jumi. Robo opener into Immortals. And that'll make up for the lack of Stalkers. On the one hand, yes, Dash will have extra Stalkers. He will have Blink as well. Blink is almost done. If he gets high ground vision, he can dive into the main base. It's only if he has a sentry and a hallucination. But the Immortal will make up for that. And it's not going to be easy to break Jumi. Not here, not with this delayed all-in. Meanwhile, there's only 1 shield battery. First Immortal has arrived. Diving in the army. Force fields will lock this down. With the Stalkers, they're trying to get out of here, but last Immortal does so much damage to the back line. Yeah, the punish is real. Looking at the trades, that was 3 for 4. Okay, not the best trades here from Dash. Warping in more Stalkers. He's still committed. Behind this, I'm a little bit concerned with the with only 1 shield battery. Is concerning. Immortal 3 volleys and it does go down. That was a lot of hits. Stalker's getting picked up. Second Immortal has arrived. Jimmy's holding. I would still like a second shield battery, not gonna lie. It would give me some solace here. Oh. As the Stalker count is building back up. Chipping with the army, they do trigger the shields. Shields do get triggered. Poking in. Poking into the army. Force fields a kind of catch one Stalker. Less than ideal. But here we go. Second Immortal has arrived. And here we go for the dive. First Immortal takes it's too much. It takes too long to kill an Immortal. GG gets called. And Jimmy, he holds. He defends against the all-in. And Jimmy will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Jimmy does take the series again. Very impressive defense, very impressive scouting. More importantly, he was able to get eyes on the probe. Once he saw the probe, he knew that there was something wrong, something was up. He found the proxy, delayed it. Likewise, able to prepare beautifully with that robo back at home. Again, a robo response is ideal in that situation, gives you early immortals. So even though you're down in Stalkers, the immortal more than makes up for it. It tanks a lot of shots and it dishes out a lot of damage to those Stalkers. GG, well played. Jimmy takes the series. And with that, we're going to be following Jimmy into the next round. And let's find out where he's headed. I believe he has an opponent. Exclamation mark B in the chat. If you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves, let's switch our scenes over and catch up. From the top, we have MaxPax. MaxPax is the #1 seed of the tournament, and MaxPax, of course, is lying in wait for the winner of Shameless and Foxer. That's going to be a spicy TVP. Best of luck to Foxer and Shameless. They're facing off. Scrolling down, Nightmare takes on Employment, Ryung takes on Luciano, and we have Nightmare versus Ryung in the second round in another TVP. Again, Nightmare has been less active as of late, so it's great to see Nightmare returning, and that's going to be a brutal matchup as well. That could go either way, to be honest. I could see Ryung taking it. I could see Nightmare as well. Best of luck to both players. Scrolling down, we have herO. herO waiting for the winner of Geralt and Status, as they are currently locked into a PvP when it goes up against herO in the next round. Scrolling down, we have Classic. Waiting for the winner of Percival and Farmy. Percival and Farmy, that is another duo of Terran and Protoss. Korean Terran and Protoss, so best of luck in the chat. I do think they're quite close in skill. I do favor Percival, but it's great to see Farmy being more active as of late. He has been playing in more online tournaments. At least I've noticed him in the bracket, so best of luck to Farmy. Best of luck to Percival when it goes up against Classic. Scrolling down to the lower half of the brackets, we have the #2 seed of the tournament, herO. Oh boy, herO is here. He's waiting for the winner of Arcfire and Hanfi. Likewise, we have another PvP with Skilless and Trigger facing off in the second round, in the round 16. And we have our series as well. They're at the very bottom of the bracket. You can see Jimmy advancing on to face off against Dark in the next round. So you have Jimmy versus Dark that's coming up next. Meanwhile, Harsum gets a walkover in the first round, and Harsum is facing off against Kior in the round of 16. So this is where we're going to be focusing our attention. We're going to be focusing on Dark versus Jimmy. We're going to follow that into the winner of Harsum versus Kior. We're going to follow that into the winner of herO, Arcfire, Skilless, and Trigger. We do have a Protoss confirmed for the lower semifinals, whether it's herO, Skilless, Trigger, or Arcfire. Best of luck to all these competitors, as they're going to determine which Protoss will make it through. But we're going to be here to figure out who faces off against that Protoss, whether it's Dark, Jimmy, Kior, or Harston. That is where our attention does lie. When it comes to the upper portion of the bracket, I believe that's being covered by Wardy. Wardy is also casting English, of course. And I think he jumped onto Foxer versus Shameless. I could be mistaken, but I believe they're in the upper matches and the upper brackets. So you can check out the upper half over on Wardy's channel. We have the lower half covered. When it comes to the semifinals, both semis are going to be casted one after the other. So we will eventually be meeting up and covering the same matches as Wardy. We will eventually get there. That is the plan. Otherwise, vetoes on the way. Vetoes are underway as we speak. Just making sure we do not get left behind. Just gaining access to some of these players. All good. Do need to set things up on our end as well. For the next series. Beautiful. And yeah, coming into this, I mean, there's some heavy hitters, right? I mean, I just mentioned the number 1 and number 2 seeds in MaxPax and herO, but we have Dark, we have Cure, we just got an update. This just in. As you can see, Cure does take down Hearthstone 2-0. That was a fast series. That was a very, that must have been either Cure cheesed the hell out of Hearthstone or Hearthstone tried to cheese the hell out of Cure. Those are some very fast matches. Like, our series was quite fast ourselves, and again, theirs was almost as fast as ours. So yeah, congratulations here to Cure as he does advance on. So we at least know where we're headed. Dark versus Jumi into Cure. So it's all kind of lined up ahead of us. We know what matches we're getting into. But yeah, we have our like big players in herO and MaxPax, Dark, Cure, of course. Skillless, Trigger have both been looking very impressive as of late. There's Gumiho, the reigning Home Story Cup champion. There's Classic, who recently did defeat Gumiho. I believe it was in the previous online tournament. We have Geralt, of course, that can always threaten these players. Ryung and Nightmare that can always pop off. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are missing Clem. Clem is usually a regular in these tournaments. MaxPax is here. Clem is not. So there won't be any Clem action here tonight, unfortunately. But we do have other Terran players here to kind of pick up that mantle and to represent. With Gumiho, Cure, and Ryung. So plenty of other Terran representation. Otherwise, we're going to be going on a short break. I guess, yeah, we're going to be going on a short break. Vetoes are underway, and once the vetoes wrap up, then we'll be jumping into Dark versus Jumi. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, get ready for a night of StarCraft to come. Get ready. See you soon. See you soon. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the round of 16 of the WardiTV Monday number 18. It's great to be back again. I hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST as we have wrapped up the vetoes and we're jumping into our second series of the night. And spawning in the top or in the bottom left-hand corner of El Dorado, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the German Protoss player, the Green Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. It is Jimmy. And you know what time it is. It's Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat. Dark is going to be the heavy favorite. That is true. But this morning, if you missed out on it, I do recommend the VODs. We did feature Jimmy in a best of 5 against a Laser, and Jimmy, he popped off. He went crazy, and he really did show us that, of course, Jimmy, he's got a little bit of that NA inside him, if you will, and is willing to be crazy, willing to be unorthodox, willing to be hyper aggressive in your face, and I'm curious to see how he does approach Dark. I'm happy to see them face off, and I want to see what he brings to the table, how he does compare. Of course, still Dark is the favorite player, that is true, but I would love to see some back and forth between these two players, and we'll see if Dark can keep up with the shenanigans of Jimmy. For now, Gate Expand. Gate Expand is a Cybercore standard opener here out of our Protoss player. Likewise, Dark going for a Hatch Gas Pool standard opener as well. So far, everything looking as it should. But welcome one and all to El Dorado, because even though the openers are standard, the map is not. El Dorado is one of the most vetoed maps in the map pool. We rarely see this map. Is a rare sight alongside maps like Ultra Love, maps like Neo Violet Square as well. So I'm happy to see us here, and I'm curious to see what our plan is. Now, a reason why this map is so often vetoed: one, the rush distance by air is very short. The rush distance by ground is short as well, especially if both players expand it towards each other. We have seen many a Queen walk across the map and many an all-in as well. On top of that, goal bases. We have goal bases available. We have one goal base per player and a center goal base that they can fight for as well. So there's a lot that does come into play here. Center Zonaga to get eyes on any kind of move outs, and we'll see what our players go for here. Jumi opening up with the Stargate, and the Stargate is hidden further back in the main. Now, it is not uncommon in this matchup, specifically on this map, to go for Tempest Rush. We've seen a lot of Tempest Rush here on El Dorado, so that is a viable option for Jimmy. For Jimmy to throw down the Stargate further back tells us that he intends to hide what comes next. Now, this could be, say, an Oracle opener into a second Oracle, banking them up, and then going for a delayed move out. This could be for a Void Ray opener into a Fleet Beacon into Tempest. It could be something different as well. We'll see what Jimmy goes for. But now he's more concerned about keeping it hidden, keeping it secret, keeping it safe. Do we go for the Void Ray of the Oracle? There it is, the Oracle's on the way. And I believe with this Oracle opener, we should be seeing it rallied back at home and kept hidden, and we bank up until a second Oracle before moving out. I would imagine, otherwise there's not really too much reason to keep it further back in the main. Meanwhile, the Lings. Oh, Lings, they do slip in, and the Ling will up, does it? Oh, barely does not scout. Checking the vision here, Dark, he does not get eyes on the tech. He does see the pylon, but doesn't see much more than that. But the question is, does Jimmy know? Is he aware? I mean, it's hard to be sure. As Dark does expand linearly towards the north side. First Oracle is going to be staying back at home. As we did mention, again, the reason why you would hide the first Stargate like this is to bank up an Oracle. As I say that, though, it is now moving out across the map. Meanwhile, Dark going for his own Bane Bust. Jesus. Baliness on the way. I would imagine just a defensive Baliness more than anything, as Dark, he's keeping up. He did scout the Oracle. He's getting in position. 2 Queens towards the third. Likewise, the Queens, they do set up here at the natural as well. They are in position. As the Oracle is going to be zoned away. And the Jumi does expand towards the south instead. Interesting. Okay, does go for the southern expansion. Expanding away from his opponent. Alas, Dark does already open up this attack path and will expand himself. Going for the lair, extra gases. And just now throwing down this tech. So again, I believe the Baliness was because initially, if you recall, Dark didn't actually see the tech. He didn't see the Oracle until after he had thrown down the Baliness, so it was just a precaution in case it was something more aggressive. So Dark would have something to work with. If it were to be like Lavid Epps or an Archon, sorry, a Charge Roll in. You know, Darky moves out. And he will threaten the third. Doesn't get much done. Going for a Bathing Water Buy. Right into the mineral line. Dark getting his own 4th base as well. Plus on melee's on the way. It looks like it's going to be Ling Bait into Hydra. No roaches. As Bailings are waddling in. Up! Oh, no reaction. No reaction. Massive connection. 6 probes going to be going down. Already a good start here for Dark. Likewise, Oracle moves in, but Elastic Queens, they keep up and the Oracle gets no damage. So far, 1 kill on the Oracle. And so far, that is not good enough. Not like this. As the Oracle does race back, we do have the follow-up. It's going to be a Robo into a Bay, into Colossus production, Gateway Explosion as well. Jimmy is building up and turtling up and teching. But it does take some time for this to really kick into high gear, and as a result, Dark has free reign. He has free map control, double expanding, getting a 4th base, getting a 5th base. Remember, Dark, he skipped tech, he skipped his roaches, going straight into Hydras instead, going straight into Ling Bane Hydra, and from here, he can even just rush into Hive. Dark is being active, getting eyes on the would-be 4th. Unable to do much about it. Lings, they poke in. Plenty of items to defend. Dark is forced back. Now it is going to be forced back. Colossus are on the way. Jimmy, he is at least stabilizing on 3 bases and soon to be getting a 4th. But Dark, he's free to attack. And there it is. If it's Sage, this should be for the Hive. This should be for Vipers and Lurkers. Should it be getting there? As I was assuming Jimmy would take the gold base. He does take a gold, but he would take the forward gold instead. Bold move. A bold move here by Jimmy, rushing into the forward gold. Dark, for the time being, is unaware. We'll poke in. Last is going to be zoned away. It's going to be forced back. Jimmy building up his army. Getting up to how many Colossus at this point? 2, soon to be 3, soon to be 4. Jeez. Getting up to 4 Colossus. That's a lot of Colossus. Okay, let's go. I mean, they can trade well against Ling Bane Hydra, but the problem here is the Vipers. We're not quite there yet. The Hive is about to finish. Once it's done, the Vipers should hit the field. And again, there is no answer here to the Vipers, not yet. As Dark is just freely macroing. He's just freely macroing, freely teching. Just calming things down, building up. Here we go, the Vipers have arrived. The Hive upgrades as well. Getting into Hydra Lunge and Lurkers. Dark, once again, he rotates towards the top side, towards that natural. As the wall's on the wall. Yeah, the wall is wide open. Nice force field. Does stem the tide, but Lings, they flood into the main. Colossus have revealed. Colossus, they have revealed themselves. Lings, they bust into the main. A couple of probes are going down. Jimmy is attempting to respond. The Lurkers now morphing in. These are Lair Tech Lurkers. Hive upgrades have yet to complete. And Jimmy doesn't give into a base trade. Starts to move out. Now he falls back. He falls back to the natural Lings. They do bust in. Probe's going to be going down. The wall is being broken. Jimmy out of position. And here come the Lurkers. I assumed... Wait. Did we cancel? No, Lurkers are here. They're back at home. So Dark, it looks like he was getting ready for a counterattack. Alas, there was none. 18 probes going to be going down as the Lurkers did fall here at the natural. And Lurkers, they're here in time. They defend. Lurkers, they shut down the Zealots. Lings knocking down those rocks. Main army pushing forward. Lurkers have to reposition. Vipers as well. And again, the Vipers, they're the answer to the Colossus. They're here to abduct. Lurker range has completed. And show us those yoinks. Oh, he gets one. Gets one, gets two. Can he get more than that? Not quite. The Vipers are targeted down, but regardless, two Colossus going down is still brutal. Darky has to back up. Does fall back. But again, he should have enough to engage. As he goes for a runway instead. The goal base is still up and running for Jumi. But Darky's maxed. At this point, he is maxed out. Lings, once again, they slip into the main. They slip into the main race. They force Jumi back home. Lurkers, they get in position. They deny mining here at the gold. And Jumi's just being torn apart. He just cannot keep up. Not with this kind of army. The rocks have fallen. More Lurkers waddling in to make sure that there is no back and forth. There's no gold base. Not anymore. Not either here or in the other location either. As things, they just keep flooding in. They do run into the Colossus, which is less than ideal, but base is still going down. And Dark, he can push now forward into the third. 17 probes falling. Paley's morphing in. The Lunkers are ready. Oh my god, no! As detection was a little bit late there, and Stalkers, they do take the brunt here of the Lurkers. So many Stalkers go down. Paley's are trying to waddle in. Nice defense here by Jumi, but GG gets caught. It's just too much damage in the lead up, and Dark will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Dark does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if Jumi can bounce back and force the ace match. I'm curious what game 2 is going to be. What map we're going to be loading into. How does this story end, or how does it continue? Let's go. Again, it was really bold of Jumi to go for the forward gold base, and hey, he got away with it. He got away with the gold. He was able to get it fully saturated, which was quite impressive. Unfortunately, we did see a couple of holes in his defense. As Jumi was moving out, he got attacked, so he had to race back home. He was out of position. Lings, they flood into the mineral lines, and from there, he was torn apart. Likewise, Dark did a great job at identifying that Jumi was being more Mac-oriented, that Jumi was expanding and teching, and as a result, Dark was free to tech himself, to tech into Hive, tech into Vipers. By the time Jumi moved out with his 4 Colossus, Darky was ready, not just with Vipers, with Lurkers as well. He was more than prepared for the move out, and he was able to shut it down. GG. GG, well played. With that, Dark does take a lead, and now we're getting into game number 2. We're going to be loading into Ultra Love. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing currently himself, one of his final tournaments here of his career, or at least of before he does go to military service, going for the 12 pool. It is Dark. Let's go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the German Protoss player, the Green Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumi. We go. As we have our initial 12 pool with this Dark, he can move out across map initially with earlier Lings. Worker moves out as well. And we are setting up for the hatch block. Let's go. Hatchery is on the way. Lings behind this as well. Dark going to be cutting workers here at 14. Overlord popping out, but at least this will just be for the Lings. As Lings are on the way, the drone, I believe, is spotted. Big scout. Nexus first. Oh no. Oh, Nexus. He's crazy. Nexus first. Okay, into the forge. Okay. Axes the cannons. Does Jumi just die? It's hard to say. I mean, the Lings are on the way. Hatchery into the main. There's nothing to defend. There is no zealot. There's no unit. There's no cannon. The forge is halfway done, but the Lings are coming. Again, Jumi, he went Nexus first. He's crazy. Now, the wall should buy time. Okay, it should buy time for the cannon. The cannon should complete. We need the cannons. There we go, cannons on the way. Lings, they can get on top of the gateway. Oh, it's going to be close. It's gonna be close here. Will that cannon finish in time as the gateway is taking a lot of damage? Jimmy, he may have to just re-wall. As the gateway's under fire. There we go. It's going to be a kill, not a cancel. Gateway goes down, and the cannon does complete. Whew. At the same time, though, we have a second gas geyser. So 2 gases are on the way, alongside a roach warren, and of course, the lava in the main. As the boys are being pulled, that's a lot less mining time. How much is mining here? We have 9. 9 probes mining in the main, as opposed to the 11 plus workers here in the main base of Dark, alongside the gas income as well. So Dark, he has a better economy. Despite the 12 full, Lings, they get past the cannon, they slip in. And again, roaches are in production. Probe's going to be going down. Big Picos here for Dark, slipping into the main. And again, roaches are on the way. Dark, he was just so fast to throw down that roach warren and to get into that roach production. The surround! The Zealot gets caught. Yeah, no support from the cannon or from the shield battery. I mean, there are no shield batteries. Roach has arrived. Boys being pulled. Second Roach has made it. So far, good control. Doesn't get surrounded. No! One Roach does get surrounded, but it may not matter. Second Roach gets surrounded as well. Ravager morphs in. Nice kiting here by Dark. GG, well played. Good luck in the next round. And Dark, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. I didn't even get a chance to update the bracket in game. GG, well played, Dark. He will claim the 2-0, will advance on, and Jimmy is knocked out of the tournament. A very aggressive build, just really chaotic game in general, not just because of Dark's build and Dark's opener, but because of Jimmy's opener as well, going Nexus first. It was just a very chaotic start there, very chaotic game. GG, well played. I do apologize for not updating the game, the map score in game. Usually that happens. Usually that happens whenever we whenever like there's cheese early on, so I just forget about it because like it was a 12 full 12 full with the proxy hatch in the main, so there was a lot going on, a lot of chaos, a lot of havoc. But with that is a 2-0. With that, congratulations to Dark, and we're going to be following Dark into the next round. Oh boy. If you recall, Dark, he already had an opponent waiting for him. It is going to be the Korean Terran player in Cure. So up next is going to be a ZVT between Dark and Cure. Do wish them both the best, and vetoes are underway. Here we go. Vetoes are underway. And if you're in the chat, !B as we switch things over and we catch up on the other updates in the bracket. Go. Just catching up here from the top. Oh, okay, we absolutely have a lot going on. I guess from the bottom here. As we mentioned, Cure took down Hearthstone 2-0 in a very fast series. Cure, he's been waiting this entire time since the beginning of the series. So up next is Cure versus Dark in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Trigger takes down Skillus. Nikita has fallen, went all the way to the ace match. A very close best of 3. But alas, Trigger does take down Skillus, does knock him out of the tournament. That leads us into Trigger waiting for the winner of herO and Arcfire. Again, PvPs, just pure Protoss here. There's going to be one Protoss confirmed for the semifinals. We'll see which one does advance on. Scrolling up, Farmy takes down Percival 2-1. I would have favored Percival there. Honestly, I would have favored Percival in that series. So very impressive to see that Farmy took the win at 2-1. Very, very nicely done. As Farmy does advance on into the PvP against Classic. Meanwhile, Geralt takes down Status 2-0. Geralt up against Gumiho in the next round. Nightmare takes down Ryung 2-0. Very impressive. Very strong result there from Nightmare. Honestly, I could have seen that going either way. I could have seen that going to the ace match as well. But no, a much more dominant performance there by Nightmare. Very impressive. It does advance on to the quarterfinals. And Nightmare, he's waiting for the winner of Shameless and MaxPax, as Shameless did take down Foxer 2-0. So that's also a lot of Protoss. It looks like we have two Protoss players confirmed for the semis. It's going to be either MaxPax, Shameless, or Nightmare in the upper semifinals. And then, of course, we have herO, Arcfire, Trigger in the lower semifinals. So regardless, we have some Protoss representation coming in there, but it's all about who faces off against them. We have Gumiho, we have Classic, Farmy, and Geralt. Gumiho, I just realized he is a lone Terran surrounded by pure Protoss. Like that's Geralt, Classic, Farmy, Nightmare, Shameless, MaxPax. It's just no. Stand strong, Gooby Ho. Stand strong. Hopefully we get some Terran representation up here in the upper semifinals. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if we can survive the onslaught of Protoss, the onslaught of the Kala. Scrolling down, meanwhile, we have a different story here. Basically, we have at least one non-Protoss confirmed for the lower semifinals, either Dark or Cure. Is it going to be Zerg or is it going to be Terran? It could go either way. Coming into this, I do favor Dark, I want to say, but I'll be honest, I haven't really seen too much of Dark's ZVT over the past couple of weeks, so I'm curious how informed he is in this matchup, and how he does perform against Cure. Let's go. As the vetoes are done, and we're jumping into game number 1. Game 1 is going to be on El Dorado once again. Yo, what's going on today? There are days, if not weeks, where we cast, of course, every single day, twice a day, and we do not cast on El Dorado. But tonight here in this tournament, I mean, for whatever reason, it is making it through the vetoes. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. There is a common denominator, though. What is that denominator? Jesus. I'm getting tired. I don't know if you have heard, I've been slurring my words a little bit. But that's a common factor is Dark. Let's go. He likes the gold, Papi. He likes El Dorado. Beautiful. As we're getting into our fresh best of 3 and spawning in the bottom hand corner of El Dorado, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the blue Zerg. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Pure. Again, for those who weren't here, this is our second broadcast of the day. Earlier today, we were covering the OSC Championship brackets and going over some viewer replays as well. And I also had a ladder stream. I did manage to nap for like 2 hours. I think I had like a 2-hour nap before the cast, but only 2 hours. So I'm still not 100% there, but we'll make it through together. We'll make it through. Also, before I forget, you know what time it is, Papi? It's Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this series. Will it go the way of the Terran? Will it go the way of the Zerg? It is up to you to decide. Best of luck. Best of luck, Papi. Best of luck. True. Technically third stream of the day. True. If we include the ladder session. No. Of course, tomorrow we're going to be casting the Pigosaur Monday. The Pigosaur Monday is tomorrow and Tuesday, and we also have the Lily Cup as well. Again, every day this week we have 2 casts a day, at least 2. Whether it's Lily Cup, whether it's Master Coliseum, whether it's the Pigosaur Monday, whether it's a Lima League as well, and many other events. It's again, January is just fully stocked. It's going to be an intense month. Intense. For the time being, February, it looks like we can finally take a break and like have some days off in February. But I'm saying that before any kind of major announcements is the reality. There could be some big events on the way, and they could suddenly just fill up a more or less emptier month. We'll see. We shall see. As for now, Dark is going to be opening up gases. This is a build that Dark does embrace here in the ZVT matchup. As you can see, no gases in the main, no gases in the natural, and he rushes into a much faster third base as a result. Now, we speak about this all the time, but if you have not seen this opener in the past, the purpose here and the reasoning why you can open gases in this matchup, it is very map dependent. What I'm referring to here, if Cure doesn't mine through these mineral patches, how does Cure harass this third base? To harass this third, like this Reaper's doing, he has to go through the ramp. He has to go through the natural first. So because of that, you can actually get away with skipping gases, skipping ling speed, skipping lings entirely, outside of course these earlier lings, and defend with purely queens, wall off this location, and you're safe and sound. Hellions can't harass here. Reapers have a hard time harassing here as well. The Reaper did get here, but again, is going to be zoned away. And because of that, Dark, he's safe and secure and can get away with skipping link speed. This eventually leads into 2-base saturation, saturating the third base, taking later gases, and going into roaches, going into roach production instead. And again, you can do this kind of opener, this gaseous opener, on maps like El Dorado, on maps like Neon Violet Square, on Abyssal Reef, on maybe King's Cove, I'm a little bit less confident about King's Cove, but on maps where you have situations like this, where you have very minimal attack paths that you can just focus on with a minimum amount of queens early on. So El Dorado is one of them, as it's going to be on Cure to try to punish. Now Cure, as you can see, he does mine through the patch. He does mine through the middle patch, so he has access to rotate. He can rotate, he can respond. It's going to be on Dark to keep up with these rotations. As Reaper does dip in, and up. Ooh, does not get the drone. Reaper goes down. Hellions get deflected. I believe one Hellion went down as well. Rough losses. You can see here, one Reaper, one Hellion have fallen, and Dark defends. And we spoke about it. Gas is now being taken, and the Roach Warren has been placed. Dark, in time, will get into Roach production and secure himself. Dark even rushing to a fourth base. Again, the fourth is right next to the third, so also very defendable. Hellions, they go for the mineral line. And they are denied with the Evo Chamber. Lings in position, Queens as well. Very nice movement here by Dark. Dark defends. Dark, he holds, he defends. Cure still rallying in. Dark, he has Overlords in position to scout any kind of aggression towards the natural. So he keeps up with the movement. Once again, Cure going for the mineral line. Does attempt to. Once again, though, is denied. And here come the Roaches. Again, Dark, he has successfully defended with purely slow Lings and Queens until Roaches. So Dark, he has gotten away with his greed. He's gotten away with his opener. So far, so good. Third base now being taken for Cure. Cure expanding towards his opponent. Now, okay, this is another big feature of this map, specifically as the Banshee does hit the main base. Gas mining drone's going to be going down. The Queens are out of position. But the rush distance by ground. Rush distance by air and by ground very short. As you can see here, especially if you expand towards your opponent, the third base and the fourth, I mean, one screen away. One screen away. Roaches and Waddling in, headed towards the third, and we'll see if Dark can break through. The Banshee doing a lot of damage, so the Banshee will help defend, and Dark is forced back. But this can still lead into, say, 3-base Roach roll in. To 3-base Roach aggression. The fourth base now getting fully saturated. Spores are on the way. Queens, they respond to the Banshee. No detection. Not yet. So Cure, these Banshees are getting a lot done. Getting drone kills, threatening the bases. Overseer has arrived. And Dark will defend. Hellions, they get behind the mineral line as well. Cure, he's getting some damage done. Oh, gets 2 drones. 2 workers go down. Nicely done here by Cure. Again, Cure is keeping up. Oh no! Oh, as they come back too soon. Oh my god, 5 drone kills. Very nicely done. At the same time, Banshee hits the third. Hellions, they dive into the main. And Dark was doing an amazing job defending, but now he is coming apart of the seams here. 7, 8 drone kills. This is adding up. In saying that, it is adding up, but at the same time, goal base, right? Like, the goal base does allow for Dark to make some mistakes, to take some losses, and to still maintain a solid economy because of the gold minerals. So despite these losses, Dark, he's not in as bad of a position as he would be on a standard map. Meanwhile, Cure, building up, is getting into his... How many racks is? 5. 5 racks setup. Likewise, getting ready for his tank push. 4th CC on the way, on location. And Curious pushing towards Dark, clearing up some creep. Giving themselves some breathing room. Valentine's Star. Let's go. El Dorado is a great map. It's a fun map to cast, and it's a fun map to watch. I would not want to play on El Dorado, is what I will say. God no. But as a caster and as a spectator, 100%. I'm always for some of these otherwise unseen maps in the map pool, like El Dorado, like Ultra Love, like Neon Violet Square as well. Always do appreciate casting. Playing though, oh, give me more vetoes. As we do go for a Swarm Host follow-up. Swarm Host into a Nidus, into the main. Nidus Storm is going to be shut down. Keen Eyes here by Cure. But because how close the bases are, oh, as the Rocks get knocked down. Nidus play can still, Swarm Host can still do well. As the expansion is going to go down, Dark out of position. Drones do fall, the hatchery as well. Nice pickup. Cure, getting damage done. Going for another drop towards the north. Nidus here outside of the natural, and again, I believe these Swarm Hosts have been unscouted. Here he has no idea why would he. Swarmer's play against Bio is very uncommon. But on a map like this, I mean, is more viable. Nidus does complete. Swarmers, they pop out. The Hell Muffins. Let's go. Lurker towards the natural. And again, Kiri's not going to be expecting this. As he does hit the natural base. Force looking over the add-ons. Looking over the upgrades. Upgrades are going to fall. Denying 2-2. Double drop into the main. Darky keeps up. He's in position. Yeah, he is in position. Roches a deflect. The main army pushing in. Tanks are on siege. He gets 2. 2 tanks go down. Drop towards the third base. A lot of chaos. A lot of havoc. But I don't think these Marines are getting enough done. Yeah, Darky's still maxed out. It's still maxed. Only 2 tanks with the army. Sorry, 3 tanks. One of them was under the Nidus. Yeah, local save is coming in, and that's all that Dark needs. As it collapses on the army, Stark steps forward, takes down the tanks, and it cleans this up. He does clean Cure up, and Curie just kind of hold on. And with that fight going the way of Dark, now we can run the bases. Again, just from the fight, straight to the bases here. The rush distance by ground is just so short. Darky does back off. He's waiting for the Locust Wave. Doesn't want to risk it. Darky backs off for now. Does retreat. Building up Ravagers. Oh. And a collapse on the army. Attempting to. Starkey will clean this up. Takes down the Bio. The tanks, they do hold the line. Where's the Locust Wave? It's across the map. I mean, he already denied 2-2-1. Already took down the army as well. Now hits the natural. Does mean that the main defense is going to be a little bit more difficult here for Dark, as yeah, he has to evacuate the core base. We could have used you back at home. The Swarm Host. Sure, he's gaining ground. The Swarmers, do we turn back around? So far, not. Looks like Dark is more focused on getting more damage done across the map instead. As Darky's losing bases. Darky did expand towards the north. Has a backup forth. Lings are rallying in. Darky looks like he will still overwhelm, even without the Swarm Host. And once again, he's going for the upgrades. Both E-bases go down. The armory as well. Cure, he just wants upgrades. He just wants 2-2. Time and time again. They get shut down. There's a Nidus. As Cure is pushing in. Stormers, they finally race back home, and this will make for a much stronger defense here for Dark. As Locust Wave looking to collapse here on the tanks. For a Ravager support. And he dives in, forcing friendly fire. The fire is going to be crumbling. He gets 1 tank, he gets 2. 2 tanks go down. As A2 is going to get 3, he's going to get all 4. Every tank is going to fall. Still is impressive what Cure was able to get done, knocking down the goal base, knocking down the second goal base as well, but did not have enough to keep pushing. And again, he's just being outscaled with those upgrades. Just now finishing up the armory, getting back into those E-bays for the 3rd time. Once again, Dark going for another counterattack. I'm sure he's looking for the E-bays. I'm sure he wants them. So give me your upgrades. Oh, as he does trade with the army. Likewise, getting to the mineral line as well. Forcing friendly fire. Getting 4 SCVs. Has to get 4 workers. Likewise, Dark still maxed out. Double expanding, getting a 5th and getting a 6th base as well. Getting up to 6 bases. Rallying in. Files, they don't quite connect. Again, Roach Ravager is not the most efficient army. Still been trading well. Meanwhile, drop across the map, but there are Hydras now to defend. Dark transitioning out of Roach Ravager into Ling Hydra Lurker. Is getting to a more efficient army. It's getting there. Local save coming in once again. Diving on the tanks, comes in from behind. Tanks are exposed. And once again, the tank line is reset. Takes down all 3 tanks. The Bio Army will hold. I mean, impressive. 2-2. Finally might finish. It's on the way. As Curious expanding towards his opponent, going for the center gold. Bold move. Now it's Dark's turn to knock it down. That is towards the top side as well. Files, oh, they do connect. Files popping up. Local save coming in. Secure does knock down those rocks. But again, the tanks, they have to stay on their ground. Are stationary. As the army dives in. Taking down the tanks one after the other. And it looks like Dark, he has finally done it. Now with the Hydra-based army, it's more efficient. Lings, they trickle in. And finally, as Anti did with all these medevacs, to deal with the Fire, the Marines, the Marauders, Dark could keep pushing for now, backing up. Upgrades are finishing up. 2-2 finally kicking in for the Terran. Took a long time, but 2-2 is finally done. Just as 3-3 is finishing up for Dark. 3-3 is finishing. The goal base coming to play. Kiri's maintaining himself. Stormers is still alive. Going for the Locust Wave. Into the natural. Mining P9 at the gold. These are still rough losses for Cure. Trading with the army. Trades that he can't afford. GG gets called. And Dark, he finally breaks through. And Dark takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Dark does take a lead in the series, very impressive. Again, a more unorthodox style going Stormhost against Bio, but specifically on this map, as you can see, there are a lot of different avenues of attack, just because when you expand in a certain way, you leave the other half of the map wide open, so Dark was able to abuse that that high ground location, that northern half of the map with all those Nidus Worms, with all the Stormhost Locust Waves, and with that, GG, well played. Dark does take a lead in the series, and now we're jumping into game number 2. Let's go. Oh, God. Getting into game 2. And we'll see if we can force the ace match, or if Dark wins it here and now. Meanwhile, do we have any other updates? We do! Oh my God, the entirety of the round of 16 has concluded, and the entirety of the round of 8 has begun. We'll be going over the bracket after this series, of course. I won't get ahead of myself. Just having a peek over at the bracket. As we find ourselves under the sea on Abyssal Reef. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Abyssal Reef, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg. It is Dark. Yeah, they got you. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. As the series does continue, and the pressure is on Cure to bounce back and to make a series out of this and to force us to the ace match. We'll see if Cure can pull it off. Shout out to Inu, of course. Inu is the Korean caster, or he's a Korean caster. And, of course, is jumping in mid-series. Shout out to Rex for letting him know the score. And welcome on an auto Abyssal Reef. Now, if you recall, when I listed these series of maps that you can get away with going for a gaseous opener, Abyssal Reef was one of those maps. Now, the reason for this is because there is a very, very narrow ramp coming into the natural, so it is easy to wall up. It's easy to wall this area off to protect your natural, and then you can focus your defense here at the third base. So again, this is kind of what you're looking for when it comes to gaseous openers. You're looking for these maps where it is easy to limit the kind of attention of your queens, to limit your rotations, and to limit where you have to focus your defenses to make it easier to get away with skipping link speed. As I say that, no gases, so it's going to be hatch, pull into a third base. Now with this opener, because you have limited units and limited vision. We do see that Dark is scouting, checking for a proxy towards left, checking for the proxy in the center, then he expands. So a bit of a safer response here by Dark, but still no gas. And again, Abyssal Reef is one of these maps. It's Abyssal, El Dorado, Neon Violet Square as well, arguably King's Cove. I think King's Cove as well, 100%. You can't go gasless. This is less viable on maps like Whispers of Gold, Amygdala, what's the other, Frostline. God, no, you can't, you cannot do this on Frostline, for example. Again, there are certain maps where this is less viable. So very map dependent, very much so. Reaper dips in. Reaper does dip in, trading with the Lings. So if I just dancing with the army, Dark not losing a single Ling yet. Tanking some shots, Queen has arrived, and the Reaper is zoned away. Why Valentine's? I was saying there might be more SE events announced in February. I was saying that right now February looks a little bit leaner for content, so I'm looking forward to having some days off. We're not having any days off in January, not at all. We have more casts than even in December actually, which is crazy. But right now February is looking a little bit leaner, so I'm looking forward to just maybe having like a day or two off here and there. You know, focusing on sleeping more than anything. Let's go. Sleep crazy. I know, crazy. Can't remember the last time I've slept 8 hours in a row. It'd be beautiful. Don't know if I could. Oh, speaking of greed, this is something we rarely see. This is a third CC before starport, which is standard, but this is a third CC on location. And this is also very map dependent as well. Because Abyssal Reef is known for how defensive it is and how large it is as well, may as well. So Cure, he is also cutting corners and being greedy. I do love this response. So Dark is being greedy himself, and Cure, he meets that with greed of his own. As the CC is already done on location. Take care of yourself. We need you. I will. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. As you can see here, all it takes is one queen. All it takes is one queen to fully wall off this location. And speaking of walling up, yep, there we go. Evo Chamber and a Roach Warren. So there's no way for Hellions to bust in. So Dark can just focus his attention here to defend. At least against a ground-based army. Less so against Banshees, but that's what all the queens are for. Speaking of, Banshees are on the way. Banshee follow-up. Cure rotating towards the left-hand side. And does dive past the queens. Goes to the mineral line. The Evo Chamber's too late. Yeah, the Evo Chamber was just a little bit too late. The drones are getting roasted. Massive pickoffs. With getting up to 4, getting even more than that. As they do line up. Oh no! 5, 6. Only 6. Whew, that could have been so much worse. 6 workers do go down. Likewise, Hellions, they try to bust into the natural. Slowlings are keeping up. One gets surrounded. And Dark will hold. Now, the trade wasn't too ideal here. 7 workers for how many Hellions? A 1-to-1 trade. 6 Hellions, 1 Reaper for 7 drones. So a 1-to-1 trade. Ideally, Cure did want more than that, so not the best moment here, not the best trades for Cure, but damage nonetheless. Damage nonetheless. As Dark has to recover, and again, Cure, thankfully, already on 3 bases. Already on 3 bases. Let's go. As Cure, he's hunting down Overlords. Likewise, we do see Dark investing into +1 melee. Interesting. So usually you would go into range upgrades to focus on Roach Ravager a little bit more. Based on this upgrade path, though, it does look like Dark, he has a Roach Warren just for safety, and his goal is to delay Roach production and focus on Ling Bane. And potentially Ling Bane into Ultra. To invest into melee like this, I'm leaning towards going into, of course, Hive Tech, going into Ultras down the line. Yep, speaking of very fast infestation bit, that is a 6 minutes 6:15 infestation bit here. This screams fast Hive, this screams fast Ultras. Oh boy. So very greedy. The downside of going into fast Ultras like this is that you have limited anti-air. So drop play can pull you apart. Banshees, they hit the natural. 4 drones going down, 5 drones going down. Spores repositioning, Queens as well. But so far, good damage for the Banshees. They come back in, they get another drone. Another 2, Jesus, 3, 4, 9 in total. 9 drone kills, aye. These are some rough losses for Dark. I mean, Ultras are expensive. We need the money. We need the resources. Rocks are being knocked down as Dark, he's opening up his side of the map. Spreading more creep. Droning up to almost 80. He would have been up to 80 if he hadn't lost all those workers. And here comes the Hive. Here comes the Hive, and we're waiting for that Ultra Cavern. Meanwhile, Cura's being active. Cura, he has yet to scout the main. He doesn't fully realize what's going on.
Complete.
As he hasn't seen the infestation bit either. For all Cura knows, it's going to be Roach Ravager again. For all he knows, it could be into Lurker tech as well. Cura dives in, trading with the army. We have burrow on the way as well. Let's go. Burrow, Link speed, Bailing speed as well. You can see Dark making a small amount of roaches here. Roach Ravager just to maintain himself. Just to support. As Ravagers, they have their place in this army. Do have their place. Hive just now finishing up. Vipers are on the way to help support. And there it is, as we did mention, Ultra Cavern. Again, seeing the early melee upgrades and the early infestation bit, it all just screamed Ultras. But again, Cure, he hasn't seen that. He's not fully aware of what's happening. If he was aware of these Ultras, we should be seeing a fast Ghost Academy into Ghost production. But again, he just doesn't have confirmation. Cure doesn't fully realize what's going on. As Dark is just securing his half of the map. Now, even though we have the Ultra Cavern on the way, it's still going to take some time. Ideally, you don't want to make Ultras until you have Kindness Plating. So you want your upgrades first, then you get the Ultras. Otherwise, you'll be giving your opponent too much time to respond and to react, and to get ready for the Ultras themselves. Up! As Dark collapses on the fire. Not the worst trade, getting us up the tanks. The tanks are on siege! Oh my god! Only 2 tanks were sieged! And with that, the tank count almost gets reset. The bio as well. Much better engagement here for Dark. From here, he pulls away. Pulls back, morphing in Morling Bane. And Cura, he was woefully underprepared. Ultras on the way. I do think this Ultra's a little bit too soon. A little bit too early, but regardless. Cura is going to be shot down. The Wazzo! Oh my god, the friendly fire! Darky takes the mouse to the face, but it may not matter anyway. Just may not matter. You can take him. He likes it, man. He likes the Biles. Forcing Cura back. As kiting here to Cure. Biles that connect with the Metamax. From here, Dark really has to just back off, build up. Vipers have arrived. Ultras are amassing. Kind of splitting still halfway done, so the Ultras are not going to be ideal. But the reality is that there's no answer to the Ultras. There are some Marauders, that is true, but there are no Ghosts. There are no Ghosts yet. Meanwhile, as we settle in, a big shout out to Ender, Caviar, Napoleon Marquises, Acampado. Oh my god. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great letter session. Welcome one and all to the WardiTV Mondays. Darky collapses on the army. The first Ultra has arrived. The tanks are exposed. And there's not enough support. So the tanks saw them go down. From here, Dark retreating, building up more Ultras, building up more Link Bane. Vipers, they did survive. Vipers are gathering energy as we speak. Dark just getting ready for the second wave, the second round. And now you can see, now here comes the Ghost Academy. Again, Cure had no idea. He just now saw the Ultras. Ghost Academy is late. It is delayed. And by the time the Ghosts come out, by then, Dark is going to be remaxed and pushing down or knocking down that front door. As Dark, he's safe back at home. He does spot the drops. Este Ender. But again, I hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great stream. Gracias, papi, gracias. As Lings, they hit the third base. Nidus into the main. Nidus does barely complete the Ultras while they pop out. Yeah, 2 of them, they barely pop out in time. West Piles, they connect, they shut down the Metamax. Dark, he's just all over this. He's all over Cure. Headed towards the 4th. Ultras wreaking havoc in the main. Nidus does complete to the Ultras. They can get the hell out of here. He saves the Ultras. Does get them out. Lings, they unburrow. Back into the mineral line. And Darky pushes in. The tanks are left on their own. He gets one, he gets two tanks, piles, they connect, they take down some SCVs. And the planetary falls. And Kira just cannot keep up. No with the multiple harassment here, and Nidus on the left-hand side as well. Dark is already remaxed. Vipers, they have still yet to be used. Vipers are just chilling back at home. Now, Kira does have a comparable army, and he might just be forced all in. He does have some ghosts. Does have ghosts. Ghosts are available. Dark, he has to engage ahead of time. Slow down the push. Oh, the Vipers. As one Viper goes down. Force the power bomb. Ultras, they get across the map. Tanks are exposed. And the Ultras, they catch reinforcements. Oh, the Ghost, no! He gets a Ghost. He gets one. Oh, he does get two. Two Ghosts falling. And the army turns back around. But there's still Ultras in the main base. The drop lords, let's go! The Ultra drop. Nidus as well to evacuate. As the Ultras, they try to get out, they will. They jump into the Nidus. Lings, they're burrowing in all the mineral lines. They just keep burrowing. They keep unburrowing as well. Dropping in. Nidus runs back and forth, and here comes the main army towards that fourth once again. Here he's ready though. Here. In position, he's holding on. Cleans up the Nidus. Shuts down the harassing Lings for the most part. Some of them are still burrowed. Nidus back in towards the main. Ultras, they pop out. Bakir, he's holding on. Oh. As the Ultras are still quite low. Ling Bang towards the fourth. Bailings, they roll in. And can they connect? Nice kiting here by Cure. Bailings, they barely get any connections. But the planetary goes down. The three Ultras, the hit squad. They still take down the base. Dark still gaining value. Still getting damage done. And again, this army from Cure is still terrifying. Snipes going up. The Ultras fall. Nice snipes by Cure. And Cure's all in. At this point, no fifth base, no fourth base, so the fourth base saturation very low. Collapsing on the army. Nice fighting Cloud. Ooh. The Ghosts, they take the Bailings to the face. And there's one Ghost left. Massive connections. Dark, he's just picked away at the army far too much, far too long here over the course of this game. And Curious army is barely standing. No tanks. One Ghost. Bailing connections here on the Marauders. It's enough to bring them down. And this is the last army here of Cure. His final stand. As he's struggling in reinforcements, GG gets called as Cure is broken, and Dark will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Very impressive performance here out of Dark. Just all over the place, very chaotic. Once again, going gasless into an Ultra rush from the side of Dark. And with that Lingbane Ultra, he was able to be so active, so aggressive. Drop Lords into the bases, Ling Run-bys, Nidus Swarms as well, just pulling Cure apart, just picking him apart left and right. And Cure just didn't really have any map presence and could barely defend back at home as Dark snowballed out of control. GG. GG, well played. Dark will advance on, and the question becomes, does he have an opponent? Where are we dropping? Where are we dropping? Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys wish to have a look at the back yourselves. Let's switch our scenes over and catch up. Let's go. Let us go. So we have plenty of updates here. Dark is the first to make it to the semifinals. Meanwhile, herO takes down Arcfire 2-0. Trigger took down Skills 2-1, as I did mention before. And we have a PvP between herO and Trigger. As a reminder, Trigger, he is in Korea. So all these matches are happening on the Korean server. herO, Trigger, and Dark, they're all facing off here on the Korean server. And we have the PvP currently ongoing. Is Trigger streaming his POV? The answer is he is. The POV is live over on Trigger's Twitch. And it looks like they just wrapped up their game. And have they wrapped up their series? Oh. Potentially. They are out of game. And yep, there we go. As if on cue, my shout out to Trigger, my condolences again. He's streaming his POV, but here will take it 2-0, getting his revenge. Trigger has been looking very impressive as of late in the PvP matchup, but Hero will take it, and we have the first semifinals: Hero versus Dark in a best of 3. Here we go. As we do need a moment to set things up, to get things going. So again, we have Hero versus Dark. Beautiful. Meanwhile, we have the upper half of the brackets. Let's quickly scroll up. We have the PvPs. MaxPax. MaxPax takes down Shameless 2-0. MaxPax up against Nightmare in the upper PvP. Meanwhile, Gumio takes down Geralt. Classic takes down Farmy. Farmy took a map. Mate, Farmy's been an animal recently. I want to say he took a map off of another notable player a couple of days ago. So Farmy takes down Percival. Farmy takes a map off of Classic, and we have a TVP between Classic and Gumio. Again, Gumio is still holding and waving that Terran flag. Gumio is the final Terran player in the tournament, and we'll see if he can go any further in this. If he can go any further in this bracket, in this tournament, into the semifinals. Best of luck. Best of luck to Gumio, best of luck to Classic, MaxPax, and Nightmare as well. Again, we have 3 Protoss, 1 Terran, and we'll see who makes it into the semifinals. For now, we're focusing on the lower half of the bracket instead. As, bam, there we go. As we can consolidate a little bit here. And, have a bit of a cleaner look. Beautiful, beautiful. There we go. Round of 8. We have our round of 8. Vetoes are underway as we speak. We're going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, when we return, we will have Hero versus Dark. It is going to be coming up next. Dark doing dark things. Exactly. I couldn't have put it better myself. True. So we're going to be going on a short break. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, cuddle your carriers, hydrate all of your hydras, and stretch your roaches. We're going to be back soon in a couple of minutes with Hero versus Dark. See you then. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the WardiTV Monday number 18 semi-finals. We've reached here the top 4 of the tournament, and we have our initial semi-finalists ready for us. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Neo-Violet Square, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is herO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player, also from South Korea. It is Dark. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. Happy. It's Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Coming into this, I know that Dark has been the favorite player for the past couple of rounds, but I would say coming into this, herO is the slightly favorite player here. These two face off many times. They face many times in their careers, of course. herO does have a winning record, especially in recent years, but they do go back and forth. They do go back and forth, especially in a best of 3. It's going to be a hard call. It's going to be a hard call. I can see this going either way. Personally, I would love an ace match. I would love a game 3 here between these two, but it comes down to our two players. Comes down to Dark and herO. For now, welcome one and all to Neon Violet Square. I'm a little bit shocked to see the largest map in the map pool. A little bit shocked, a little bit in awe. herO going for the gate expand, Dark back at home going hatch and gas pool. Standard openers all around. But again, this map is known for late game. It's known for turtle play, for secure 3, 4, 5 bases into the late game, into Sky Toss, for example. So I'm not entirely certain how this is going to play out. On the one hand, it does favor that kind of style, you know, embracing a later game composition. But Dark isn't really one to embrace the late game too often. If he can end the game early, he will. So I'm feeling something more aggressive here. We'll see. We'll see what Dark goes for. My eyes are on the Zerg. But now herO just being as annoying as possible, forcing some inefficient mining. Stark is settling in, saturating his bases. Does saturate his bases. Back at home is going to be a Stargate opener out of herO. Stargate opening into an Oracle. So far, everything looks standard. I know that herO has the reputation of being aggressive. That is true. He's known for his micro, known for aggressive builds. But herO, more often than not, can play standard. He can just triple Oracle into +1 and blink, into a third, into a fourth, into Sky Toss. Like herO, he's more than willing to embrace that. Which is why my eyes are mainly on Dark here, as the third is on the way. Throws down the third base. Joining up his bases. Is saturating. And Dark, he does dip in here for a scout, does get eyes on the tank. Dark, he sees, does get eyes on the Stargate and the first unit of choice. Dark, he is aware of the Oracle. So with this Dark, he should be getting his Queens ready. Queens will be getting in position and soon followed by the Spores. Oh, as it does get not quite a drone. Quick morph in here from Dark, does save the workers. They do survive. And herO is deflected. Is going to be deflected. Back across the map. First Oracle moves out. herO is going for his third base. Third base at the pocket location. Interesting. Again, this is one of the big features of Neo Violet Square is the pocket base. A very free expansion. Has less minerals, but still has 2 gases. So still quite valuable gas-wise. Forge gets thrown down for +1, and we should soon be seeing that Twilight Council as well. As herO pokes in. Going for some of the larva, looking to deny the Overlord, and it looks like he will. Yeah, the Overlord is cancelled. Larva as well. Nice damage. There's that Twilight Council for herO. Should be +1 and blink. I can't imagine he's going to be going for a charge build on Neo Violet Square. It just doesn't really feel like the most ideal build for a larger map. So I'm leaning towards blink. Now the first Oracle is joined by a second. That's going to be a 4-minute 30 layer timing here for Dark. Oh, as the Oracles do overextend and they take a lot of hits, they take a lot of damage. Alas, no Spore here at the third. He gets 1, he gets 2 drone kills. The Oracles, they get away. And herO, not too bad. I mean, he does take a lot of hull damage, which isn't worth it necessarily, but does get some workers, does at least preserve the Oracles, does get out. And based on this faster lair, this looks like Ling Hydra. Either Ling Hydra or Ling Muta. The reason for this, again, 4-minute lair timing is very early. On top of that, No Roach Warren. No Roach Warren. Evo Chamber into plus on melee into Ling Hydra instead. Does look like Dark is skipping tech, and it makes sense to skip tech here on Neo Violet Square because you don't expect the need for Roaches. Roaches are ideal against a charge-based opener, as we were alluding to earlier. Because the map is so large, charge isn't really as viable. Same with Glaive Adepts, so instead, Blink. Blink is on the way. And as if on cue, plus on melee and the Hydra Den. So again, Ling main Hydra here out of Dark into eventually Lurker tech. From the side of herO, I was a little bit shocked to see his poke at third base because I do think he could have gotten away with a standard third instead. So his economy is going to be a little bit lackluster, but he is now taking a fourth, and the fourth base should be secure. Could have gotten this expansion sooner is what I will say, but regardless, is taking it. We see herO taking it even further, going for the Bay, going into Colossus, not in the sky just yet. Likewise, Dark double expanding, going for the fourth and going for the fifth as well. So again, both players are embracing their greed, they're embracing their macro, and we're headed into the mid game. So we are rushing into said mid game. And we'll see if Dark takes up. What I mean by that, if Dark cuts workers here, then he may just go purely Ling Bane Hydra and move out on Lair Tech. Otherwise, if he does drone up a little bit further, if he takes extra gases, then Dark, he can afford an Infestation Bit, a Hive, and a Lurker Den as well. So we'll see if Dark takes that extra step and heads towards Hive and Lurker. For now, just Ling Hydra. Oracles, they dip in. Taking a lot of hits. Take a lot of damage. Rocks are being knocked down, and I don't really see much droning going on. Still sticking to 74. And here comes Dark. Dark, he knocks down the rocks. He's massing up purely Ling Hydra, as we did mention. Dark, he's going for almost a pseudo all-in here, as again, he is choosing not to tech up, not to take gases, not to drone, and not to head towards Hive. It's purely Ling Hydra or Ling Bane Hydra on Lair Tech. So very committed here from Dark. Again, borderline all in. And we'll see if herO can survive. herO back at home is massing up Colossus, throwing down stasis traps. Only has the one Colossus. Stasis does get baited out. Oh, that's a lot of Ling Hydra. Colossus doing what it can. No extend double lance. Doesn't have the range upgrade yet. Needs a little bit more time. Range is on the way. And Dark, he backs off. He backs off, and now he techs. After the push fails, I say fails, basically Dark, he doesn't feel confident. He moves out, sees the defensive setup, feels like he cannot break his opponent, and now he techs. And this is late. Late Infestation Bit, late droning, late Evo Chamber as well. So I would say that hero's in the better position. On the one hand, yes, Dark has a larger army, currently with more supply, but he's not doing anything with it. He has chosen not to do anything with it, as he doesn't feel that he can break his opponent. So Dark, now he's reinvesting into drones, now he's getting up to 80 workers, now another expansion into Infestation Bit, Hive Tech, Lurkers. All of this could have been thrown down sooner, like a minute or so sooner, instead of the investment into Ling Hydra like this. So I do give the edge to herO. Again, it's one of those things where Dark, he's maxed. Dark, he's maxed out, but he doesn't really have the ideal army. It still has potential, don't get me wrong. If hero's out of position, if he takes a bad fight, then Dark can still pop off. But Storm is finishing up. And pushing into this base is not really easy here for Dark. It's just very secure. Dark building on more Banelings. Getting into 2-1 upgrades. +1 range on the way. +2 melee. Now, the ideal situation with Dark is for herO to push into him. Like, Dark, he wants to fight on creep. Like, Dark cannot break this expansion, but he can fight the army and the open. So, risky maneuver here by herO. Is moving out. He does have 2 Eye Templar with the main army, and I believe 2 Eye Templar in the War Prism as well. So, 4 Storms at least. And here comes Dark collapsing on those Stalkers. Nice blink. Okay, very nice blink. Does a shade or does blink away. Base out the stasis. And massive stasis on the army. It's a good start for herO, but merely only a good start for now. He has yet to really trade with the army. Dark now morphing in Lurkers. Dark, he's bought enough time. Stasis runs out. Dark going for the Storm. We have some okay storms. One Knight Templar goes down. It's okay. Hero now taking it to Sky Toss. Fleet Beacons on the way. And Dark trying to set up the surround. Getting ready for a flank. Here he does attack with the Stalkers. He pulls away with his main army. Dark looking to collapse in. And he's going for it. He goes to the dive. Sets up with the surround. How good are the storms? And not too bad. Storm's Ace turned away. One storm left. Massive connection. Lingbane does crumble. And the Colossus stands strong. Very nice fight for herO. herO, he's still maxed out. Dark force back. How many lurkers does Dark have? 2. Only 2 lurkers. 2 more on the way. 4 in total. The base, it should fall. I don't see Dark holding onto it. The goal base, it does crumble. Lurker as well, down to 3 lurkers. And with only 3 lurkers, I mean, herO, he can just keep pushing. As long as he has detection. That's the big problem here. No observer. Sorry, there is an observer. There is an observer with the main army. herO doesn't quite commit. Pulls away, rotates around. Motherships in production. Second Stargate as well. Getting to carry our Tempest. Where are the storms? 0 storms with the army. Risky. Very risky. Trading out the Zealots, throwing them away. Clearing out more creep. And here he has no intention to fight. He's denied the expansion, that's all he wanted. From here he backs off, and he's making 3 Tempests at a time. So here he's in control. He's in control right now. Getting to Tempest. Dark, he was barely holding on. Now double expanding. Taking the gold base and the southern base at the same time. And Dark is still not quite at the ideal Hydra Lurker Viper army. I mean, I just mentioned something. Vipers, there are none. Without Vipers, there's no secure way to deal with this, with these high-tech units. The Colossus, the Tempest. The Immortals as well. herO moving in. Once again, threatening the main army. Dark knocking down those rocks, gaining access to the gold. herO's getting in position. And Dark, he wants that gold base. And again, there's no storms. Despite that, herO, he does hold. There are storms not coming in. Or High Templar, I should say. Dark going for a massive Lingbane counterattack. He's going for the mineral line. And there's no warping, there's no reaction. Massive connections. Probes are going down. Takes down a mineral line. At the same time, pushing in towards the gold. But herO's ready for this. herO, he's in position. Bailings, they make their way towards High Templar. They do not connect. herO holds. Did lose 20 workers in the process, and we have a Night Storm into the main. herO, he does hold. He can take a fight head on. Does he react? No warp-ins back at home. He doesn't see. Links into the mineral lines. Forced to warp in. herO, he's focusing on his push. And there's potential here for Dark. As Dark back at home, he's in a bit of trouble. There's only a handful of lurkers. But there we go. Night Swarms are finishing up. Lings, they flood in. And herO, he turns everything back around. Will kill the expansion, or at least he should. But he's forced back home. Probes are folding as well. Dark buying a lot of time. If it wasn't for all these Night Swarms, Dark, he may just be dead. To be honest, I don't think he could have stopped the main army. But he may have just died then and there. Alas, he forces back the army, he buys time, takes out the Robo. And now Dark can recover. He can keep up. Morphing in more lurkers, taking the gold base. Killing 17 probes. herO's down to 38 workers, barely an economy. But herO's making 5 probes at a time. Another Nidus. herO, we gotta respond. Okay, he does. This time he does. Catches the Overseer. Nice Storm as well. herO pushing out once again. And just like previously, Dark can't really engage with this main army. It's not going to happen. Dark has to avoid the fight. As he cannot fight this head on. Not with this kind of army, not like this. Nice gets caught. Bailey run back here towards the gold. And the reality is that even if Dark kills this mineral line, I think we can just A-move. I'll be honest. Dark, again, he's just going for mass counterattacks. He knows he cannot fight this. Go base goes down. herO turns back around. He's racing back home. Bailey's rolling in. Going for the stack defense. They take down the cannons. Lings a run into Archons. Oof. And A-probes go down. Gold base is under fire. The gold base is under fire. The lurkers are exposed. Here comes the Tempest army. Uh-oh. And Dark has to get out of here. He cannot fight this. Oh no, he's going to try to stand and fight. He gets the Stalkers, but the main army is going to fall. Tries to pull away. Nidus does complete. Let's go. Dark popping in. Going from Nidus to Nidus. The planetary. The Nexus does hold. And here he will defend. We'll clean this up. Dark has to get the hell out of here. As the army does race back. Will get the kill on the Nexus. At the same time, Dark rally reinforcements, kills both bases. But this is where the supply doesn't lie. As we've been saying, for the past like 3-4 minutes, Dark could never fight the main army. He could never fight the main army, and that is still true. That is still the case. Even though he's killing base after base, mineral line after mineral line, like really good hit and run tactics here out of Dark. But the reality is, even though Hero's supply blocked, Dark, he's down in supply. He's down in army, he doesn't really have much to work with. If this army pushes out, Dark cannot stop it. The best chance for Dark to win this game, base trade. Base trade is the only option. And that's why Darky just keeps rallying everything across up. He knows that the base trade is the only way. But here he stays back home. Dark is attempting to double expand, trying to get his economy up and running. Lings, they sip into the bases. And you can see here, he's so frustrated. Like, he just wants to push. He just wants the A move. And there we go. This time here, he leaves some supply back at home. He shuts down the harassing force. And here comes herO. Is pushing through. Activating Cloak. Taking his time, waiting for his reinforcements. And how many Tempests does he have? 5. 5 Tempests against 11 Lurkers. The goal base, once again, should be shut down. herO, some delicate micro here pushing forward. Wants to make sure he stays spread, reducing splash damage. Slow zone on the Lurkers, there's no escape. GG gets called as herO snowballs out of control as he finally moves out. And herO takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played again. For the past 5 minutes, Dark could never engage with the main army. Dark, he was behind, if you remember. A lot of the game was, in a way, determined by Dark's decision to delay his tech. If you remember, Dark, he chose to commit. He cut workers at 74. I think it was like 73 or 74 drones, just under 4 base saturation. He had cut workers. He had committed into Ling, Bane, Hydra. And then he backed off. If you remember, he delayed everything. He delayed his hive, his infestation with his lurker den, his upgrades, his second evo chamber. He didn't have any of it set up because he was committed on a like 3.5 base all in. herO defended, Dark backed off, and Dark fell behind. He fell behind from that moment, so he had to play catch up tech wise. And with that, he was never really able to build up a formidable enough army to face off against herO. He was just stuck on a very heavy Lingbane Hydra army, very few lurkers. If you remember, with the first push when herO moved out, there were only 2 lurkers. Only 2 lurkers to defend, eventually 4 lurkers, and it just was not enough. From there, herO took a lead and just snowballed out of control. GG, well played. And we'll see if Dark has a different approach coming into game number 2 as we load into King's Cove. Let's go. It's one of those things where at this level of play, if you're committing to an all-in, if you're committing to aggression, and if it doesn't pay off, like, you do fall behind. Do fall behind, and it can be difficult to recover from that kind of game state. So we'll see where we head this time. As we're getting into game 2, loading into another large map. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of King's Cove, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss. Representing Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back, and we'll see if we can force the ace match. It is Dark. That's all I want out of this. All I want is an ace match, is a game 3, but the pressure is on the Zerg. And welcome one and all to King's Cove, a large map of the map pool, very defendable on 3 bases, but the 4th base is more vulnerable and more exposed compared to Neon Violet Square or Abyssal Reef, for example, the other larger maps in the map pool. So because of that, what I will say is that if Dark wants to be aggressive like he was last game, if he wants to commit on a 74 drone count, like max out of Lair Tech army of Lingbane Hydra, I do think that is more effective here on King's Cove. This is also where I have to criticize Dark a little bit of choosing that build on Neon Violet Square. I don't think the map is really too conducive to that, just because of how defendable the 4 and 5 base setup is. Here it's different. Here the bases are more exposed, they're on the low ground, they're out in the open, a multiple attack paths here into the center expansion. Same can be said here towards the northern 4th base as well. So I do think that Dark can be more successful here, but the problem is because Dark went for that build last game, because he was hyper aggressive on 3.5 bases, or just under 4 bases, then here he's already on notice, right? He's already aware of that potential, of that aggression, and here should be looking out for that here in game 2 as well. So we'll see what Dark goes for. We shall see. From here, we are getting to our take of choice. The pylon is done, Cybercore as well, and show us what you got. As there it is, Stargate has in place. It's going to be a standard Stargate opener out of herO. herO is looking hot AF these days, beating herO and Dark convincingly. It's one of those things where, I mean, this has been the case for a very long time, for maybe a year, maybe more than a year. herO has the best PvZ in the world. It has been better than MaxPax for a long time. That has always been MaxPax's weak point, is PvZ. MaxPax, I would say he has the best PvP in the world, and he has very competitive PvT. I think PvT is like very stylistic between MaxPax and herO, but that's where they differ. Where MaxPax is like the king of PvP, and herO is like the king of PvZ. Like this is where herO thrives. This is where he thrives. You could also argue that a reason for that, it might have to do with the same reason why MaxPax's PvT is so good, is because he plays it so often, right? Like, if you're familiar with the online tournament circuit, you would know that MaxPax and Clem, they play a lot, right? They play so much in the online tournament scene, especially during the EPT on season, right? With EPT Americas, EPT Europe as well. They would play week after week after week. When it comes to herO, his rival, his version of Clem as an opponent, was Dark. Like, herO and Dark, they would play in every ESL Cup Asia, every KSL, every online tournaments that was more Korean focused, herO and Dark would play. So they got a lot of practice together, and as a result, herO did benefit quite heavily from it when it comes to his PvZ. So it's a similar kind of, like, I guess, outcome and similar kind of setup here to MaxPax and Clem, with them improving their matchup as well. It also might be as to why MaxPax's PvZ is weaker, is because the reality is when it comes to European Protoss, as we're popping up, this is hyper aggressive, by the way, but to finish that thought, but when it comes to European Protoss, we talk about it all the time, but a lot of the European Zerg players, when it comes to a lot of the European Zerg players, they're very inactive. When it comes to online tournaments, Laser very rarely competes, Lambo very rarely competes, and Raynor and several never compete, right? So the top European Zergs, they're not very active in the online tournament circuit, not as much as others, of course. So that may be as to a bit of a reason as to, you know, why MaxPax is maybe a little bit weaker in that matchup. We need the European Zergs to be more active, Fab. Yeah. As it is going to be, again, a gateway explosion into Glaive Adepts. Let's go. So standard opener into a 3rd base into hidden Glaive Adepts. So the goal here is to catch Dark off guard, and Dark, I believe he is skipping roaches. Yes, there is no roach horn, but there is a Baneling Nest. It is possible to defend with Lingbane. It is more difficult, but it is possible here. We'll see if Dark can pull this off, as the initial wave of Adepts have yet to arrive. We have 3 Adepts, they're just poking in, everything's looking normal. But more Adepts, they're banking up back at home. And again, the Baneling Nest is going to finish up just in time. And ideally, the Banelings, they want to be keeping up with the shades of the Adepts. Hydrogen on the way. No Bailings yet. And again, there's no reason for Dark to morph in Bailings until he feels threatened. And so far, he has seen nothing. Dark is in the dark. He doesn't know what's going on. And now he finally sees the Adepts. Now he knows. And now we need Bailings. We need Bailings as soon as possible. Dark, he pulls away. There we go. 8 Bailings morphing in. But is it too late because the Adepts, they're here. The Adepts, they shade in. The Bailings on already. Queen's under fire. Diving on the Queens. Queens, the first one goes down. He gets 1. He gets 2. Yeah, 2 Queens do fall. Gets a 3rd Queen as well. Shades past the army into the mineral line. Oh, damage is being done. 10 drones already going to be falling. Nice spread here from herO. Does pull away. Bailings, they crash into some Adepts, but that's not good enough. Yeah, not good enough. And herO looks like he has done it. He's just pulling Dark apart. This is game-ending damage. 19, 21 drones falling. And Dark, he was caught with his pants down. GG gets called. herO will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. herO snowballs out of control. He will take the series. Again, Dark, he had no idea what was happening. He was denied the scout. He skipped his Roach Warren because he believed he could. Dark, he was going Lings into Hydras. Did have a safety Bailing nest, but as you saw, he didn't morph in Bailings until it was too late, until the army was already in his face, in his base. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations here to herO as he does advance on to the grand finals, where he's going to be facing off against the winner of the upper semifinals. And we are getting ready for that match, for that series, as we head on over to the American server. And we can find out why. Exclamation mark B in the chat. Exclamation mark B in the chat. To have a look at the back yourselves as we catch up on what has been going on. And here we go. We have updates. We have MaxPax. MaxPax took down Nightmare 2-0. Classic took down Gumiho 2-1. This is the second time in a week that Classic has defeated Gumiho in that PvT. Very impressive stuff here by Classic. Does take him down. And welcome one and all to the WardiTV Protoss Monday. Because we have purely Protoss. We have herO in the finals, and we have MaxPax and Classic in the semis. And I just mentioned MaxPax earlier when it comes to his matchups, and I stand by that. MaxPax has the best PvP in the world. This is where MaxPax thrives. There's no Zerg player to stand in his way, and we'll see if anyone can stop MaxPax. Let's go. We'll see if he can be stopped. We'll see if he can be brought down. Now, in saying that, we have actually seen herO defeat MaxPax recently. I think it was last week. I think twice actually. We've seen herO defeating MaxPax. What I will say in the latest patch, herO has been adjusting his PvP. It's been really cool to see. If you haven't been watching herO over the past couple of months, basically ever since the off-season, ever since the PTR, herO has been changing his PvP, and he has been going for the quote-unquote MaxPax opener as well. So we've been seeing a very different dynamic here, where now in the past it used to be herO always all into MaxPax. He always all into him. Nowadays, herO at times outgreeds him. At times he outgreeds him. At times he out-techs him. herO has just been completely changing his approach, and we'll get there. Potentially we'll get there. As for now, we have our semifinals. We'll talk more about herO and his PvP after this series, as we are jumping in to our upper semis. Here we go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of El Dorado, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the Korean Protoss. It is Classic. And again, really impressive. Again, we have seen Classic take down Gumiho multiple times over the past couple of days, so it's been impressive to see him bring him down. But how does he compare to MaxPax? Again, MaxPax, he has some incredible PvP. He is devastating in this matchup. But what I will say is that Classic has been following suit for herO. I guess I may as well talk about it. I was talking about earlier how during the off-season of EPT, herO has been embracing the MaxPax Gate Cyber Expand more often than not. And once herO started doing it more often, all the other Korean Protosses, I'm talking about Trap, Classic, Nightmare, and Creator, they all followed suit. And they've also been going for these more economic openers in PvP as well. So this is something that Classic has been embracing as well, and we'll see how he deals with MaxPax. So far, mirrored builds. Mirrored build so far, going for the Gate Cyber Expand. Double gas opener out of MaxPax, single gas out of Classic. What does this tell us? This tells us that MaxPax, he is willing to go for a Stargate before the Nexus. MaxPax, he is willing to. Classic, less so. Classic, he's more committed in. There it is. Nexus before Stargate. So a greedier build here at a Classic. The reason for this, no gas. No gas here for Classic, so he does cut corners. He is more economic. And now the pressure is on MaxPax. Now it's on MaxPax to punish the greed of Classic. Pylon gets thrown down. Pylon is on the way. Now the purpose of this pylon is for a shield battery. If the pylon finishes, MaxPax can throw down 2 shield batteries. He can reinforce with Zealots, with Stalkers, with Oracles, with Phoenixes, and try to break him here and now. Ooh, but the pylon is going to be cancelled for the time being. Is trying to disrupt the build here. Does spot the initial unit. Zealot has arrived. And MaxPax, he keeps this probe alive. Does keep it alive. He's trying to figure out what's going on. Is there a Stargate or not? So far, no Stargate. Not yet from Classic. And again, MaxPax, he's intentionally delaying his base. He's delaying his expansion, delaying his natural. As we do see Classic's probes being hunted down, MaxPax does expand, Stargate is done, and we should be seeing the Oracle. Oracle should be on the way. As Classic, he waits for the probe to fall before throwing anything down. What is it going to be? What do you have for us? Stargate, Robo, Twilight Council. Does fully wall... Okay. Does fully wall off. Is keeping MaxPax in the dark. Classic has got 200 gas. Like, what? What's the plan? What's... Where's the tech? What's going on? Getting up to 300 gas. Oracle's on the way. Second Oracle as well. There's no anti-air, so probes are going to be going down. Classic, he's in trouble. No shield battery. Like, what's happening? the Oracle has arrived. Probe's going to be going down. He gets 1, he gets 2. Going for the Sentry as well. The Sentry will survive. But a nice start here for MaxPax, getting 3 probes. Gateway's under fire. Second Oracle's on the way. And, yeah, there's just not really much that Classic has to work with. Losing more probes. 5, 6, 7. This is becoming too much. This is getting out of hand. No shield battery in the main. Now we see the Twilight Council, but I'll be honest, I don't think this is intentional. I think this is just maybe forgotten. Like, we just had a lot of gas for quite some time. Oracle gets owned away. I mean, Classic does hold, but Classic, he's falling behind in workers. Or I should say, he doesn't have the lead that he otherwise would have liked. Classic still does maintain an advantage. This gateway, it is going to go down. Another Oracle has arrived. Nice force fields locking down the Adept, but the gateway does fall. And we'll see if Classic can try to keep up here. As again, MaxPax, he has been catching up. Oracle threatens a dive. Second Oracle does slip in. Classic not quite in position. Loses another probe. Another worker goes down. And another. As MaxPax, he's just pulling Classic apart and just punishing the lack of shield battery. Ay, ay, ay. For those that are curious, 1 shield battery will protect a mineral line for 1 Oracle, and that's typically the response, but Classic, he's been cutting corners, and it's worth it if you're able to keep up, but so far he hasn't. How many dead workers? 13. This has not been worth sacrificing those shield batteries or skipping them. As 13 workers have gone down. Behind this, MaxPax is getting a 3rd base. Oh, also, my apologies, I don't think I opened... Did I open predictions? Yeah, sorry, my bad. My apologies, but there we go. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on how you think this series will unfold. I was just enamored by talking about the PvP matchup, so I do apologize at the start of the game. But it is a little bit late. Upon hearing this message, predictions are open for 2 minutes. So if you can hear me, place your bets while you can. Don't forget for this series. As we're still in game 1. Classic rushing into the... He's crazy. Rushing into the gold. Classic being quite greedy, and Classic is behind worker-wise. Like, he is falling behind economically, so the gold base will help him catch up. Will help. Sentry goes down. Nice pick up here from MaxPax. Going to be reinforcing. Sentry trap set up. Another Sentry going to be falling. And he wants the other. He wants the third sentry. He gets it. He gets 3 sentries. 3 sentries go down. MaxPax trying to bait Classic to chase him into the stasis. 1 Stalker falls up. Oh my god, that was close. That was very close. Classic has to be so careful. I'm not so certain he has spotted the stasis. Don't know if he knows. Oracle towards the main. Oracle does run the main base. Classic rotating, catches the first Oracle. Finally, first Oracle does go down. There's still 1 more here at the natural. Stalkers a poke in. Baldry once again trying to force out the bait. Up, ooh, and it will connect. Classic didn't quite notice. 5 Stalkers get caught. Shield battery is done. But another stasis from behind. Oh my god. The stasis traps, they just keep popping up. And with that, Max actually does have the Stalker advantage. Does reinforce coming in from behind, collapsing on the army. And despite the shield battery overcharge, or the energy overcharge, Max actually will out-trade the army. Stasis, though, they are running out. Classic, he holds. Does hold on. Behind this, third base getting saturated, getting to +1, into charge, into a gateway composition. And after all said and done, MaxPax is ahead economically. Does have the economic lead. Classic, the goal base is helping, but it's not enough to overcome. It's not enough to surpass the advantage that MaxPax has, as MaxPax even getting a 4th. And both players are. We'll see if Classic can maintain himself. We go. EBT, PvP, and PvT. Yeah, I mean, that was EBT Europe for a long time. I mean, it still is, but... I mean, it did help MaxPax in those matchups, 100%. Did benefit him. As MaxPax does rotate. Classic out of position. The 4th base is exposed. Can he get it? Can he force a cancel? 2 more volleys. Up. Una mas. Can he get it? He can. 100%. He will get a kill. Ooh, not a cancel. That should not have happened. 400 minerals down the drain. MaxPax moving in. Classic forces a recall. And more probes are going down as well. Classic just getting pulled apart. Ay, ay, ay. Losing a base. 5 probes and a shield battery. Over here, MaxPax, he can pull away. Classic, he does attempt to punish. Catches a couple of Stalkers. Not bad. A couple of Stalkers go down. Even more. Nice pickups, but again, in a longer game stage, Max actually does have a lead as he does harass across the map. 5 more probes, 10 in total. Classic stuck on 3 bases, and at this point, he's all in. At this point, Classic is committed. And he is up in army supply. And MaxPax needs time to warp in. The stasis up! Up! Oh my god, stasis goes up, Prism goes down. Massive snipe here on MaxPax. Yeah, he has a high ground, he has a concave as well. It is in favor of the red Protoss. Now Classic pulling away. Sorry, MaxPax pulling away. Does pull back. Reinforcing. Picks up more Stalkers. So MaxPax looking solid. And soon to be outproducing his opponent. Classic still maintains a Stalker lead. It's how many? It's 25. Sorry, it's 34 to 25. Ah, no, he runs into another stasis. Stalker advantage doesn't mean much here. Not like this. MaxPax just buying more time. Setting up more stasis traps. Classic waiting for his Warp Prism, waiting to reinforce. I want to believe he can still pull this off. As DTs they get across the map, Probe's going to be going down. Oof. They bust into the natural, and Classic commits. Once again, the Prism falls. Chargers, they trickle in. They do a great job at buffering, great job at supporting. And more Zealots have arrived. And with that, Max actually will take the better fight. Another stasis goes up, catching up more units. And Classic is running out of steam. He's just running out of army. Now coming in with more Zealots, diving on the Stalkers. But Max actually is warping in 8 Stalkers at a time. Again, he has the defender's advantage. will overwhelm, catching out the Stalkers. The Immortal arrives as well. And Classic is down to his last legs. At the same time, there's still a DT in the main, forcing a recall. More Stalkers go down. And Classic is trying to race back. There's no detection. No. Observer just now coming in. And now MaxPax, he's defended. He gains map control, moving out for his own counterattack, going for the gold. As the pylons are falling, Immortal has arrived. The Chargers, they will help out, but the Chargers of MaxPax, they arrive as well. MaxPax, he has more than enough. He breaks through. GG gets called. And MaxPax takes game number 1. GG. Does take a lead in the series, and MaxPax, he's 1 game away from making it to the grand finals. Uno más. Uno más is all he needs. And Classic, he's up against the wall. Again, it was a more greedy, more economic opener out of Classic, but he cut a lot of corners. If you recall, I was a little bit shocked to see that Classic didn't throw down Tech early on, and despite seeing the Stargate, Classic did not throw down a shield battery. It is risky. It is very risky to see a Stargate opener and to not throw down shield batteries in your mineral lines. As we saw, Classic got abused for it. He lost 13 workers. 13 probes went down because of, partly because of the lack of shield batteries, and MaxPax was just pulling Classic apart. Despite the initially more greedy build out of Classic, he fell behind. Did fall behind. To try to make up for it, he rushed into the gold. If you remember, that's when MaxPax did punish the gold base as well with those stasis traps. And able to connect economically behind it. With that, GG. GG well played, and now we're getting into game number 2. We are loading into ley lines. Let's go. And we'll see how our players do adjust. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the Danish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Psystorm Gaming, 1 game away from making it to the grand finals. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Protoss player from South Korea. Down in this series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is Classic. Here we go. So players are sitting up, and MaxPax should once again be going for a gateway cybercore into an expansion, into a more economic opener. Classic, as I mentioned before, a lot of the Korean Protosses have been embracing this even on maps like ley lines. I'm curious if Classic will go for an economic opener as well and mirror his opponent, or double gateway. As there it is, a 2-gate opener out of Classic. Now with a 2-gate opener, I'm going to be following this probe, and we have potential for a 1-base all-in for a proxy. And we'll see if Classic does embrace that 1-base all-in. MaxPax dipping with the probe, does confirm the 2-gate opener. And MaxPax, his goal here is to look for the second pylon. He's looking for the pylon. And as we can see, the pylon is not at home. The pylon is across the map. As Classic is in position. And at this point, MaxPax knows. Yeah, he does know, he is aware. What I'm referring to here is that MaxPax, when in the early game of PvP, you move in with the probe and you're looking for the pylon. The pylon is missing. MaxPax knows that, and he knows it's somewhere out on the map. Now, this could be a very real proxy or a fake proxy pylon instead. Now, Classic, he throws down the pylon, he abandons it, he does scout ahead of time, and the probe is revealed. And because of that, we can see that it's more of a fake out, trying to force an overreaction out of MaxPax. This is not the beginning of an all-in. Not yet. So Classic just trying to get into MaxPax's head. Behind this, MaxPax going for the Stargate before Nexus, which is standard for MaxPax. Very safe opener, or safe follow-up. Going for the Stargate. And you can see MaxPax doesn't flinch. He will expand. So the Nexus has been placed. A Classic opening up Robo. Okay. So, a lot's happening right now. On the one hand, Classic, he is not proxying, true, but it still looks like a 1-base all-in. So, this pylon can be used to reinforce. It can be used to reinforce. Initially, sure, there is no proxy, but it is still a big commitment here, and the probe is right. The Adept does spot it. Yeah, big scout. Probe goes down, massive delay. I believe Classic want to throw down a proxy gateway, as Classic has no expansion. The Adept does zone away. Classic forced to wall up. And Classic, his build has been disrupted. As I'm pretty sure he did want that gateway and did want a reinforcement point. Classic poking in. Trying to threaten the low ground, threatening the expansion. And gets a probe. Adept keeping Classic pinned. The Robo is done. And the Prism's on the way. Again, as a reminder, one base all in. One base all in here from Classic. Meanwhile, MaxPax, he realizes he's in danger. Void Rays on the way. Void Rays are amazing defensively in this matchup. That's really their only purpose. They don't really scale well into a longer game, but early game defense, Void Rays are ideal. But they can be ideal. I would say that maybe an Immortal is a little bit better, but you know, Void Rays have their place. As the Void Ray has arrived. Stasis Trap is done. We have 3 shield batteries behind this. And MaxPax is just slowly building up that Void Ray count. Likewise, moving out with that Oracle. Does threaten the main base. Stalkers are in position. And Classic making his way, rotating into the main. The shield batteries are quite ready. But MaxPax, he does spot the army. He rotates in time. He wants the Prism. Oh my god. Does it extend? A lot of hits go up. The Void Ray's in danger. Void Ray goes down. Massive pickup. Void Ray does fall. Second Void Ray does arrive, but that was a big misstep there from MaxPax to overextend. And Classic, he capitalized on that mistake. Does capitalize on it. Again, there's still a very tense defense here from MaxPax. To throw away that first Void Ray was a brutal moment. But he can still recover. As Classic is still reinforcing, he's got 3 gates. Warping and Stalkers across the map. Classic pushing in. Now Classic, he does see the Stasis Trap, thankfully, he is aware. Prismatic Alignment is activated. Again, he's got 3 shield batteries behind this, about to be 4 shield batteries. Second pylon as well, 1 Stalker falls. Yeah, bit of miscontrol there by Classic, didn't save the Stalker. Saves the other though. So nice pick of micro towards the end. Classic putting in. Oh, another Stalker goes down. Every Stalker counts. Another Stalker falls as well. And another. 4 Stalkers fall. Getting a 5th as well. And that's too many losses. Too many losses here. When you're all in like this, you have to preserve that army. You have to preserve those Stalkers. Another one falls. And Classic is running out of steam. He's running out of steam at this point. Oh my god, as the army just melts. GG, and MaxPax, he will take the series 2-0. Will advance on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. MaxPax did have some miscontrol or a misstep there when it came to losing that first Void Ray, but we saw that Classic, he got a little bit too excited, and he did miss some of those units there when it comes to juggling with that War Prism. He needed to preserve their Stalkers. He lost too many too quickly with that. GG. GG, well played. MaxPax, he defends, he snowballs out of control, and we have our 2 finalists here. It's going to be a PvP between MaxPax and herO. Here we go. We have our grand finals. And we'll see how this story ends. We'll see who's able to take this, as this finals is going to be an interesting one. Now, if you recall earlier, I was praising MaxPax, saying that he has the best PvP in the world, and I do stand by that. At least historically, this has been the case for quite some time. For a couple of years at this point, MaxPax has been at the top. He's been the king of PvP. But recently there has been a bit of a, I don't think I would say a shift in the hierarchy, but herO has been really contesting kind of that title and has been threatening MaxPax more and more. I do want to get some stats on this because off memory, I want to say that herO has been beating, I want to say he's beaten MaxPax like maybe 3 times over the past 2 weeks, but I do want to double check that. But we have seen herO take down MaxPax in the Pigasaur Monday. And I want to say in the WardiTV Monday as well. Let me double check. Un momento. We have the technology. Okay, here we go. So yes, in the WardiTV Monday number 14, which was last week, MaxPax did take down herO 3-2, went all the way to the ace match. MaxPax did win that best of 5. Before that, in the WardiTV Monday 17, which was a week ago, last week, last week, in the previous WardiTV Monday, herO took down MaxPax 2-1 in a best of 3. Not in a best of 5, but in a best of 3. So herO did defeat MaxPax in WardiTV Monday 17. He also took down MaxPax in WardiTV Monday 15 as well. That was 2 weeks ago. So last week, and I guess 3 weeks ago at this point for 15. So herO, he has been taking maps, he has been taking series. Overall, MaxPax does have a winning record against herO, but recently it's been herO who has been really threatening and has been, yeah, able to cause upsets against MaxPax. And I think I would call them upsets because, like, historically, MaxPax, he has been the more dominant player between the two of them whenever they face off. So it's been great to see that herO's been threatening him. I would still say that MaxPax is the favorite player, but it's exciting to see that herO has been improving in this matchup and has been getting better and, yeah, has been able to take MaxPax down a little bit more as of late. Fun fact, at least in 2025, they're currently 50-50. Currently 50-50 in series and in games. In competitive tournaments. I mean, we only just started the year, but bit of a fun fact. So we'll see who's able to break that and take a lead. And break that 50-50 scoreline. As we are all getting in. And game 1 is going to be on Abyssal Reef. As the vetoes are wrapping up. Here we go. Wouldn't it have been better to redrop on the main while pushing towards the battery? Into the 4 shield batteries, for sure, you can try to rotate. The problem with dropping into the main base is that if your opponent keeps up with your rotation, then you won't actually be able to unload into the main. And if your prism goes down, then you just lose, right? Like, getting into the main base relies on you being able to just outposition your opponent, and on MaxPax missing that rotation. So it's very difficult to pull off. Not impossible, but is difficult. So I don't blame Classic for not going back into the main. You could argue he could have attempted to do so. That is true. Could have attempted. Regardless, we're getting into our grand finals, into the final series of the broadcast. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Abyssal Reef, we have the Danish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Weibo Gaming. It is herO. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. This is a hard one to call. I think historically, if we were casting like a month ago, I would say MaxPax is the favorite player. But in current StarCraft, I think it is much closer than that. I think it is close to 50-50 between MaxPax and herO. So best of luck. Best of luck in the chat. What does your heart tell you? What does your heart tell you? What does your head tell you? What do you go for? Best of luck with your predictions. I'm not envious. I'm not envious. Personally, I would be surprised if this is a 3-0 in either direction. I do not expect a 3-0. I expect it back and forth. We'll see as we're settling in. Here we go. Void Ray seems so OP, to be honest. How does Protoss counter Void Ray late game? Void Rays scale horribly into a longer game state. Void Rays are only good in the early game defensively because of how little anti-air there is. As the game progresses, Stalkers outscale them, other Skytoss units outscale them. I think you're getting responses in the chat. But yeah, Void Rays, they don't really have their place outside of the early game in PvP. Which is why you only see them in the early game in PvP, defensively against all-ins. Just because there's a lot less to deal with, of course, and the Stalker count is much lower. Meanwhile, herO going for a fake proxy pylon. Let's go. Throws down the pylon outside of the main. And with that MaxPax, he's aware that the pylon is missing. It's going to be a 2-gate opener out of herO. And he doesn't commit to anything. He's trying to force an overreaction out of MaxPax, similar to what we just saw in the previous game, but of course Classic did commit to an all-in. Here, herO doesn't need to, as we're loading into a much larger map into Abyssal Reef. Double Stalker opener here out of herO. MaxPax is going for his Stargate, going for his standard opener. Here we go. As from here, the Stargate is finishing up. Protoss Imba, even in PvP, era Protoss. I mean, Protoss have always been dominant in online tournaments. Like, that's been the case for, what, like 4 years at this point, maybe longer than that. If you've been watching online tournaments, you would know that, you know, it's always about Protoss when it comes to events like this, the EBT Open Cups. Now, WardiTV Mondays, of course. KSLs. So yes, it is as it has always been. As we do catch one of the Stalkers, not bad. One Stalker does fall. herO expanding behind this, getting his natural. As here he does maintain his position, going for the shield battery. There's the NG overcharge. And so if MaxPax is holding the line, he does have enough free time here, enough freedom to move out across the map. The Oracle does hit the main. Back at home, herO, he's in position. Stalkers are ready, nice hold damage on the Oracle, and herO defends. Here he does defend back at home, getting his natural. Meanwhile, MaxPax has a much faster natural himself, so MaxPax does take a worker lead. MaxPax is ahead economically. herO on the flip side, it's on him to recover, it's on him to keep up. As you can see, herO trying to catch out that Oracle is being active on the map. Here he does have more Stalkers, as a second Oracle has arrived. Oh. Threatening the natural. Gonna be zoned away. Will be zoned back. So far, herO is keeping up. I mean, shout out to MaxPax for keeping these Oracles alive so we can always threaten another dive and go back in. You can always commit. And again, we're loading into Abyssal Reef. We didn't really get to talk about the map itself, but the map is very large. One of the largest maps in the map pool, second only to Neon Violet Square. And with that, we may just enter a longer game state into the mid-game. Both players setting up for their third bases. herO soon will expand. Likewise, MaxPax throws out his third base. This can lead into a fourth base, into a mid-game setup here in PvP. So much more passive, much more laid back. We can take a moment to breathe and to settle in. The reason why this is more common on Abyssal Reef, of course, is the size of the map. The map is just very large. Likewise, very defendable here on a 5-base setup. There's a very narrow ramp coming into the natural. Likewise, a very awkward attack path toward the third base, even towards the fourth as well. So this map is known for late game, is known for turtling up as well in different matchups. Like, turtling is very prevalent on Abyssal, but less so in PvP, as that's not really as much of a factor at least. MaxPax is being active. He's going for the third. Here he does miss the rotation, but he will spot the army. It does get eyes on it. Here he responds, getting in position. He's ready here for MaxPax. Safe straps on the way. Up! And here he does avoid it. Does blink away. Sentry goes down. Nice pickup. Sentry does fall. Shield battery. They're out of energy. But here he's holding on. Does hold for now, shuts down the Oracle. Oracle goes down, massive pickup. Here he defends. And again, MaxPax trying to bait him into these stasis traps. Again, here he is aware of them, he has spotted them, and the Observer has arrived. Here he spots both. He will shut them down. At the same time, MaxPax rotating over towards the natural. Takes down the pylon. Ooh, doesn't commit. MaxPax just poking and prodding. Behind this, going to +1 in charge. Both players are. Headed into charge, also I would imagine heading into Immortals and Archons as well. As here he is catching up. Now even on workers. Even on probes. Now the question becomes, do both players work into Archon production, or do we skip Archons and go straight for Disruptors? Where do we go from here? Stalkers, they do threaten to dive. But now being as the last pushing into a concave, here he does hold. Meanwhile, a Depth Harass here on the right hand side, nicely done. They do slip by. Here out of position. Probe's going to be going down, getting 5, getting up to 6 probe kills. Oh, that is a lot of damage. Again, here he was caught off guard. And here having a hard time keeping up with MaxPax. Stasis doesn't quite go up. The Immortal's exposed, and the Immortal's going to go down. One more volley. Nice pickup. From here, MaxPax can back up. Is ahead economically, getting a 4th base. And looking to get further ahead. The pressure is on herO. When behind, a Dark Shrine. Dark Shrine is on the way. Can't help make up for that. So far, no Temple Archives for either player. No Archons, just Gateway Army. Stalkers and Zealots. See some in the chats. Vikings, they're a bit OP. No, not at all. Be careful. Don't start crying in the chat. Save that for Reddit. As the players start securing their bases, again, MaxPax still maintains a lead. Faster 4th base. Better saturation. Leads into a larger army. Shadow Stride on the way here for herO. Getting into Blink. Here he does have the faster Dark Templar. He has potential for damage, but back at home, there's a cannon here at the 4th base. There is a cannon on the way to 3rd. And likewise, the natural is more exposed, but is also more secure. So these Dark Templar are going to have a bit of a harder time finding damage. We'll see if they can. Now MaxPax pushing in. That's a bit of an awkward engage here from herO. Observer does get sniped. Stasis goes up. And with the help of the shield, with the help of the Immortal, here he does hold on, takes the massive stasis to the face. And the stasis pops off. And MaxPax doesn't quite capitalize on this. Doesn't quite push in. Pulls away for now. Looks like that our Templar did fall earlier. There was enough to defend. The armies, they bounce off each other. DT's now on the way for MaxPax. War Prism into the main. And a massive warping as well. Here comes the Dark Templar. And here he's out of position. He's racing back home. Workers going down. Pylons as well. MaxPax pushing in towards the natural. Catching an Immortal. And the Immortal is going to be targeted down. Massive pickup. The Immortal does fall. DT still wreaking havoc. And here he's just being torn apart. The Invisible Man in the hands of MaxPax, like no other. He has on top of the Immortal as well. Doesn't quite get it, but more DTs, more Zealots here towards the 3rd. MaxPax rotates over towards the 4th, and just the supply isn't there. herO, his army just is not large enough. He's being torn apart. 18 probe kills. That's 22. 22 workers going down. DT's back into the main. Getting to 23. And the War Prism is still active, still getting damage done, still warping in. Finally going to be dealt with here by herO, at least he's trying to. And MaxPax takes a lead. Does take a lead. herO, he was keeping up for most of this game until the War Prism, until the warp in. From here, herO taking a head-on fight. I mean, he does have the Immortal advantage, true. That does help, but speaking of Immortals, MaxPax has his own. Immortal. Getting a 5th. Getting another expansion. Getting up to 83 probes. Jesus, that's a lot of workers. That's a large economy. As once again, the stasis doesn't quite connect, thankfully, not this time. herO picking up the Immortal, does fight back. As he moves out, we have Zealots here into the third base, Zealots into the fourth as well. While herO was distracted, again, he's just being torn apart. At this point, it's just a supply issue, where MaxPax just has so much more to work with because of that greater economy. Warping into the main, more Zealots, more DTs. And it just cannot be dealt with. Cannot be cleaned up. 26 more probes going down, and herO, he's all in. At this point, he's completely all in. There's nothing back at home to fall back to. He is turning back around, though. Trying to say whatever he can. And here in game one, MaxPax, he's popping up. And again, we had a much more passive, much more kind of stale opener as well. You know, natural into a third base, into a fourth base. And this is where MaxPax can thrive. This is where he does thrive. When he's left alone, left to his own devices, allowed to get into his game state. And with that, the main base goes down, the tech as well. Ay, ay, ay. And there's almost nothing left. Almost nothing left here for herO. Going for another massive warp in. GG gets called, and MaxPax, he will take game number one. Whew. GG. Does take a lead in the series, and the MVP of that game ate the Warp Prism. The Warp Prism was the MVP time and time again. Warp-ins into the third, into the natural, into the main base as well, with DTs with Zealots. Again, it was up until that harass, up until that Zealot DT harass, up until that moment, herO, he was keeping up. He had a comparable base count, comparable economy, comparable army size as well. If you remember, he was going for his own DT harass at around the same time. But he was torn apart by that prism, by the multi-pronged harassment of MaxPax distracting herO, allowing for the War Prism to actually get out of hands, and GG. GG, well played. MaxPax does take a lead in the series. But again, I do want to emphasize that a lot of this game and a lot of the reasoning behind MaxPax being so comfortable in that game was because of how passive herO was. But a part of that passivity was the size of the map, was Abyssal Reef. Right, Abyssal Reef, it's large, it's defendable. Because of that, we just had some more passive macro builds. Nothing too crazy, nothing too aggressive out of herO. And with that, MaxPax takes a lead. GG does take a lead. And now we find ourselves in game number 2. Another large map in the map pool. We're going to be loading into Amygdala. Let's go. Now, after game 1, I do expect herO to take a different approach. I do expect a different approach. Not saying he has to all in, not saying he has to cheese, but something more assertive is what we're expecting here. Is what we're expecting as we are loading into Amygdala. Here we go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the Danish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Psystorm Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player down in the series. And again, that last game was looking quite intense and pretty solid here out of his opponent. We'll see if he can bounce back and make a series out of this. It is herO. Let's go. Here we go. And I feel like, again, that last game was just a good example of how MaxPax can snowball out of control if he is left to his own devices, if he's allowed to get into a comfortable 3-4 base economy, 4 base saturation. If he is left alone, he's crazy. He's wild. And we'll see if MaxPax can get there again. We'll see if he can get there. For now, Nexus first. Jesus. Before the gateway, before the cybercore, the Nexus gets thrown down. herO being... This is the greediest build you can go for. Pylon into Nexus. You do not get greedier than this. And now the pressure is on MaxPax. He scouts. He sees the timing of the Nexus. And there is a chance now. There is a possibility for MaxPax to be the one to proxy and to all in. My eyes are on this probe. My eyes are on this probe here. Does MaxPax set up for a proxy? He wants to. Again, very suspicious probe. Back at home, going to be gateway into Cybercore. Probe will go to the Zelnaga. Scouting probe coming in for herO. As herO, he will follow this up with a 2-gate setup. And again, we spoke about this as we were getting into the series, how herO, very often against MaxPax, we see him be either very aggressive, at other times he is able to outgreed MaxPax and take an economic lead over him. For now, MaxPax going for a standard opener. It is going to be Gate into Cybercore, into Stargate, into Nexus. This is the standard style here at MaxPax, which means herO will take a lead. So herO, he's going to get ahead economically, but the question becomes, can herO keep up with the aggression of these oracles? That is the question. If you recall, we saw something similar between Classic and MaxPax, where Classic went for a Gate expand, he went for a Gate Cyber expand, which was still greedy, not as greedy as herO, but greedy nonetheless, but Classic, he failed to maintain that economy as he got torn apart by the oracles on El Dorado. So the pressure is on herO. Can he keep up? As MaxPax is moving out with the Zealot, with the Adept as well, Oracle is rallying across the map. And here he will have some Stalkers to defend. Takes down the probe. Ground army has arrived. Here he does take a worker lead. Adept shades into the main. And here was named a wall of one probe goes down. He gets one, he gets two. Two probes do fall. Can he get a third? And it looks like he will not. Ooh, just barely not. Two probes go down. Here he holds, has lost some workers, and MaxPax is not done. Oracle making his way towards the main. This time there is a shield battery. This is something that Classic did skip. herO did not. As the shield battery is done, Oracle does head towards the main, going for the stasis, I would imagine. For now, going to be zoned away. No damage yet. Second Oracle's moving out. MaxPax joining down his own second gateway. And here he's maintaining himself. Moving out across the map as well. MaxPax doesn't really have much to defend. The Oracles are out on the map. The shield battery doing what it can. Stalker's being targeted. So far, MaxPax is holding on. Buying time. The Oracles move in. Not much at home to defend. Oracles, they can one-shot probes. They force a recall. And probes are going down. He gets 5. He gets 6. 6 probe kills. At the same time, herO across the map, he is getting damage. Gets 4 probes as well. Oh. Takes a lot of damage, though. We'll lose 1 Stalker. herO tries to pull away. And MaxPax does punish. And as it all settles, MaxPax, he's the one up in probes. Ay, ay, ay. Does take a worker lead. Here he attempts to intercept. Not quite able to. MaxPax pokes in, gets 2 probes. Once again, still maintaining that economic advantage. Throws down a third gateway. Blink is on the way for both players. And again, I do favor MaxPax's position here. The Void Ray has arrived to support the army. So 2 Oracles, 1 Void Ray, and the Stalker. Shield Battery's not ready. Yo, no Shield Battery here at the natural. herO, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. Oracles, they are deflected. But the Void Ray, I mean, is a solid backbone to the army with prismatic alignment. herO trying to collapse in, coming in from behind. Does take down the Void Ray. Void Ray goes down, nice cleanup, nice surround, and herO holds. Whew. Here he does hold at the same time. He is still punished though by the Oracles. That's going to be 4 probe kills. Oh. Coming back in. Just getting a scout. And again, MaxPax still maintains the greater economy, going for a 3rd expansion. Diving into the main, stasis is going to be going up. Only on 1. 1 probe gets caught and the pressure is on herO. He has to get some damage done. And last MaxPax, he's in position. 3rd base is on the way. herO, he's still stuck on 2 bases. His 3rd is delayed. And MaxPax is getting ahead. He's getting further ahead here. Collapsing in the army, he blinks in. Does catch a sentry. Sentry goes down. Oh. Here bleeding out more Stalkers. And this is going to be a better fight for MaxPax. Reinforcements, so they have arrived. Here he can hold. Can try to hold on. Oracle's here towards the mineral lines. 6 more probes going down. And here he's just being torn apart at this point. Even if he holds here, he's down in workers, down in economy. MaxPax, he can reinforce. He can press his advantage. The Prism, no! The Prism goes down! Oh my god, how? The Prism survives! I'm impressed. Prism barely lives. MaxPax force back. That Stalker volley barely not enough. But herO, he's all in at this point. There's no third. There's no third base. He's completely all in. Either herO breaks the third or he dies trying. MaxPax, he's ready for this. Trading with herO. Trades out Stalkers. Falls back to the shield battery. More probes going down. It's just all or nothing. herO warping in 5 Stalkers at a time, or at least trying to. Can barely afford it. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for MaxPax. There's the NG overcharge. Boys are being pulled. He can afford to lose some. He can afford to pull the boys. And GG gets called. There's nothing left back at home. And MaxPax, he survives the all-in. He takes a 2-0 lead. Whew. GG. GG, well played. And MaxPax, he's one game away from becoming this week's champion. And what is next map? What is the veto process? So far, we've been loading into these larger maps. Game 1 was on Abyssal Reef. Game 2, Amygdala. What, are we loading into King's Cove next? Okay. I was like, oh, we're going to like King's Cove? What's happening? Game 3, smaller map. I feel like this is where herO can really find his stride, but he needs to. The pressure is on. Again, one more loss, and that is the end of the tournament. And it's been a fast cast so far. I don't know if you noticed, we're, 3 hours in? Typically, this is a 4-hour cast. Typically around average 4 hours, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But so far, the broadcast has been quite fast, a lot of faster games in general. And we'll see if herO can make a series out of this. I do feel like that this is a map where herO can thrive in. Again, this is a much smaller map compared to everything we've seen so far. Does favor aggression. We'll see if herO can take advantage of that. Last game, he tried to be greedy. He was cutting corners. He failed to maintain that economy though. herO who's being torn apart by the Oracle harass, by the Stalker harass as well. MaxPax's multi-pronged aggression in PvP is insane. I mean, in general, is insane. And he's been looking good, been looking strong. Here he is in the top right-hand corner. We have the player leading the series 2-0, one game away from becoming a champion. It is MaxPax. One more game is all he needs, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss representing Weibo Gaming. It is herO. As a reminder, last game he went Pylon into Nexus, a very greedy opener out of herO, and we spoke about it at the time, how the pressure was on herO to maintain that economy, and he failed to do so. He failed to do so. He was torn apart by the Oracle harass, by the Adept harass, by the Stalker movement as well. In the end, MaxPax took a lead. In the end, with that lead, MaxPax was able to afford a third base, just a greater economy, a larger army. He forced herO into the all-in, and alas, the all-in did fail. So MaxPax was almost in full control of that entire game. And we'll see what kind of approach herO takes this time. It's been mainly herO kind of dictating the pace, and MaxPax responding. So far, it looks like a gate Cybercore opener. Okay, so gate into Cybercore, mirrored builds here between MaxPax and herO. There we go. Cybercore is on the way. And Cybercore for MaxPax as well. Now, this is the herO that we know and love. Like, this is the opener that we've been seeing a lot more of from herO as of late, is just going for the gate into Cybercore. The Cybercore gets thrown down further back, so it makes it difficult to scout and difficult to confirm. MaxPax, he's denied the scout, so he's not fully aware of what's going on. But he does pylon block. And the pylon will not complete, but he is looking to delay the expansion for as long as he can, as both players should soon be expanding. MaxPax, he's one to throw down a Stargate first. Stargate into Oracle. Again, this is his go-to. Basically, the way that this build works is that he goes for Oracles to harass and to scout. If MaxPax feels threatened, if he feels like there is an all-in, then he will throw down and start Void Ray production. Meanwhile, herO starts a Nexus. So, once again, we have a situation where herO, he does have a more greedy build. That is a Nexus before Stargate for herO. This is a Nexus after Stargate for MaxPax. So it's going to be in herO to defend and to survive the Oracle aggression. here we go. As our players, they do diverge when it comes to their builds. herO getting a second gateway. Hallucination confirms the timing of the expansion, and it confirms the Oracle production. So herO, he is aware of what's going on. Moving out with the Adept. Moving out with the Zealot. Could you have a third gateway for herO? Okay. Very gateway heavy. Getting into a 3-gate setup. I wouldn't say this is the setup for an all-in yet, but if he throws down a Robo, if he throws down a 4th gateway, then we can start talking about that. This is out of the norm. Hello. That's a fast forge. Very fast forge for herO. Curious. My immediate thought is a +2 timing. We'll see. I mean, it could even be a +1 timing, to be fair. But very fast upgrade here for herO. This is very unorthodox. You do not often see this. Unless herO is just doing this for cannons. No shot. No shot. Forge does complete. Should be getting to +1. I mean, herO doesn't even have a Twilight Council. Or coming in with a relation. There we go. +1 is on the way. Meanwhile, herO getting torn apart a little bit here. Probes are going down. herO being overwhelmed. Does respond. 3 probes do fall. As the Oracle comes back in, herO out of position. Ay. This Oracle just wreaking havoc. And once again, MaxPax with his Oracle Harass just pulling herO apart. 7 probe kills. And just like that, despite herO going for the earlier Nexus, MaxPax is ahead economically. And now we can take a 3rd base. Now we can expand. Now, based on what we're seeing here, this looks like it should be a +1 all-in. Should be a +1 timing here for herO. Like, there's no reason to rush into this upgrade without making use of that timing. Robo's on the way. That'll be for Immortal production. And because a +1 is halfway done, because the Twilight Council just started, I imagine this should be leading into +2. I would imagine. I'd imagine +2, building on more Immortals. And setting up. We have seen herO historically be quite comfortable and quite fond of these like Immortal-based all-ins. Assuming he goes for the Immortal after the Observer. As MaxPax, his 3rd base is halfway done, getting into his own forge. +1 is almost done for herO, so again, this should be leading into +2. MaxPax is just containing herO, and herO, currently, he is content being contained, as he's building up that Immortal count. And by the time +2 finishes, herO, he should have, I want to say 3, maybe 4 Immortals. And that's when he breaks out. As we see MaxPax going for the Sentry, he gets both. Both Sentries go down. The Station Immortal can only do so much. MaxPax doesn't fall for it. Oracle comes back in, and herO is being torn apart once again. The probes are going down. 7 probe kills! Ay. Not like this. +1 has completed. 2nd Immortal's on the way. There's +2. So again, this is a +2 timing. I'm pretty sure this is designed to be a 2-base, like, Mass Immortal +2 all-in, but the Immortal goes down. And it's so important with this build to get that Immortal count as high as possible. As that's meant to be the advantage of herO. And now trading with the army. herO, oh no! herO, he takes Stasis to the face, and that might just be game. No shield battery, nothing to defend. Stalker's going down. And before herO can even think about +2, before he can finish, he's in trouble. MaxPax is snowballing out of control, takes out all the Stalkers. 1 Stalker left. Stasis is about to run out. And herO has nothing left. The boys are going down one after the other. It was an interesting build here to herO, but we're not going to get there. It's not happening. As that's 16 probe kills. Ay. Just MaxPax knocking herO down before he can embrace that timing. GG gets called, as that was game-ending damage, and MaxPax will take the series 3-0, becoming this week's WardiTV Monday champion. GG. GG, well played. A very impressive run here at a MaxPax. He gets his revenge, takes down herO. As I mentioned, coming into 2025, it has been a 50-50 scoreline between MaxPax and herO, but that has been broken, and MaxPax takes a lead. GG. GG, well played, does take the 3-0. Again, MaxPax historically, for a long time, has had the best PvP in the world, and he is maintaining that title. He's holding on to that crown. When it comes to herO's builds and herO style here tonight, I wasn't too fond of his playstyle, his approach in Game 1 and Game 2. As we were pointing out, it was a much more passive style out of herO, and we often do see either more extremes, either like hyper greed or hyper aggression, one of the two. We saw an interesting attempted 2-base all in at a herO here in Game 3, not the ace match, but in Game 3. But as we saw in the lead up to it, MaxPax, he tore him apart. Like herO, he just could not even finish +2. He couldn't build up the immortal count. He was just being torn apart by the oracles, by the stalkers, by all the aggression, all the harassment. Very impressive play there at a MaxPax, able to just keep up and overwhelm herO. Did overwhelm. GG. GG, well played with that. MaxPax is our champion. And this was, again, an intense run here tonight. A bit of a shorter broadcast, some shorter series overall. We did have some ace matches here and there, and I mean, there were some fun matches, don't get me wrong, but just a shorter broadcast in general here. As again, we were able to follow Dark into Cure, able to follow Dark into herO, herO into MaxPax. We did follow the lower portion of the bracket. Shout out to all the other matches that did occur off stream. I'm referring to Classic defeating Gumiho. Very impressive performance there. herO defeating Trigger. Trigger has had some killer PvP as of late, so for herO to bring him down is very impressive. And of course, even for Nightmare to take down Ryung as well. With that, GG. GG, well played. And if you enjoyed the broadcast, if you enjoyed the casting here, I do apologize for being a little bit tired and for slurring my words here and there. Like, the fatigue is setting in, not gonna lie. It's been a long day of casting. It's been a long day of casting. So I do apologize. I'm going to be getting some rest, and the next broadcast is going to be in a couple of hours. I say a couple, 10 hours, 9.5, as we do quickly check our schedule. Bam. Okay, here we go. It is going to be a busy month for us here on the CranKy Ducklings. As you can see before you, we're currently on Monday, just wrapping up. So WardiTV Monday just concluded at the end of Monday. Tomorrow we're going to be live in 10 hours time, in around 10 hours, with the Pegasaur Monday. That's going to be at 10 a.m. KST on Tuesday. We have the Pegasaur Monday. Scrolling down, or after that in the evening, we have the Little League Cup as well. That's going to be at 9 p.m. KST. Next day, Wednesday, we have a Lima League plus Little League Cup. Then we have the Pondcast, Master Coliseum. You can see that we have some free slots available Friday morning. But what I will say, what I can say with confidence, is that we are going to be live Thursday morning and Friday morning, also at 9 a.m. KST. We are going to be covering the OSC Season 12 Championship. That is going to be, we have yet to really, I guess, confirm that in our calendar, but those are going to be taking place later on this week. So we're going to have 3 casts on Thursday and 2 casts on Friday. On Saturday, we have the House Galactic Battle. If you're curious, what is that? Well, where have you been for the past like 5 years? What's been going on? We have been casting a big LAN event, the House Galactic Battle. That is a big LAN event in Poland. So if you want to tune into players like Spirit, Laser, Christiana, Geralt, Bappy, and many others, they all face off in the House Galactic Battle. That is, I believe, going to be the end of year finals, the 2024 finals, where we've been hosting all these big LAN events throughout the course of 2024. That all leads into the grand finals, where players have been accumulating points and have now been invited into the main event. So do look forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a 12-hour cast, at least 12 hours, maybe more than that. It's going to be a lot of games. It's going to be a lot of StarCraft. Lot of StarCraft. Likewise, on Sunday, we have the back-to-back double broadcast of Master Coliseum. The reason for this, as you can imagine, Master Coliseum is a 3-day event. Is typically or actually, I guess a 4-day event? Wait, what? Is it 4 days this week? Hold on. I just realized on the calendar. Yeah, 4 days. Jesus. Okay, 4 days this week. But usually it's on Saturday as well, and it is on Saturday, but because House Galactic Battle is a full day event, it means that we're going to be missing the Master Coliseum on Saturday, so we're going to be catching up and having a back-to-back broadcast on Sunday. So that is the current plan, at least. It is a very intense schedule. So if you enjoy the casting, we have plenty of StarCraft here ahead of us, as always. 2 casts a day, every day, sometimes 3 casts a day. So all the content, all the StarCraft. If you want to support us, you can do so via following on all the social medias. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have Discord as well. All things CranKy Ducklings. As you can see, our socials in the chat. Likewise, if you want to support us monetarily, you can do so via Patreon. You can see it underneath the schedule. You can see the Patreon. We currently do earn 333 USD a month. All that money goes towards our tournaments, and the next goal is at 400 USD. That is to boost the prize pool of our tournaments to pay out top 4. Currently, our tournaments are very top heavy. Currently, our tournaments only pay out top 2. I would love to be able to pay out top 4 as well, so that is available there via Patreon if you want to help support us. Otherwise, thank you so much. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We will see you guys again in 10 hours time with the Pikachu Monday. I look forward to getting some sleep and resting up, getting ready for the rest of the week of StarCraft. Oh boy, let's go, baby. Let's go. Oh, the StarCraft. One-sided. It was very impressive performance there out of MaxPax. Very impressive. Otherwise, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. With that, we are going to be heading off for the time being. If you want to stick around, do give some love to some of the other StarCraft streamers out there. We're going to be giving someone a raid who is live at the moment. Looks like Wardy is going to be casting day 1 of OC Championship. We're going to be covering another day of it, of course. Scrolling down, we have Monsieur Sadsack, who is currently live. Oh, is Yaku finally playing Brood War? Did he just go live? He did. Okay. Yeah, Yaku, he's playing through Brood War for the first time. Let's go. I didn't think he would actually do this. Okay. You have my attention. I feel like we have to rate him. So for those that maybe aren't aware, Yaku, of course, he is a fellow CranKy Duckling, Yaku of the Zaku. He's a Terran player from Singapore, and he often does casts with me here on the channel. We host the podcast together as well. Yaku, of course, has been quite busy with IRL commitments, and he's been promising a Christmas Brood War stream. He's never played through the Brood War campaign. He's very young. He's a Zoomer. He's a bit of a younger member of the community. He's never played through Brood War, so he is playing through the campaign as we speak. I didn't think he was going to, because now we're in January. He was meant to stream it in December. Yaku. So give him some love. Give him some love. Give him some support. Again, he's playing through the campaign, so yeah, the nostalgia is real. Check him out. He is younger than True. He is younger than Brood War. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yaku. Ay. So yeah, give him some love, give him some support. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be heading off. I'm going to go and get some rest, get some sleep, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao. Papi, ciao. Hasta luego. Thanks for watching.